mute myself. Mic check, mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check, mic check, mic check. All right. DJ Kevin Stu is in the house. And him say more jam soon. Kevin, enough you. Kevin.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah, man.
All right. All right, folks. You have your shirt on, Lyris. Sit down. I'm Puma sitting. Wait, oh, sit down. And what does this have? Patrol? All right. Folks, good afternoon and welcome to Reason with Rattigan. With yours truly, Will, the Rebel Rattigan. As always, thanks for tuning in. And as usual, please have your pen and paper ready for the knowledge that we're about to impart regarding a whole bunch of topics, including the Constitution, the proposed reform, and the unfulfilled promises and lies spewed by our parliamentarians. I can tell you one thing for sure, we're not going to get to all of them because, as you know, we have an abbreviated show today. And we'll get into that a little bit more. A nation without knowledge of history and self cannot confidently march into the future. And so Malcolm X said it probably better than anybody else. He says, education is a passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing every Saturday we meet. We prepare for the future. So I want to say big up everybody in the chat, everybody who's tuning in. We have a wonderful program today. It's probably more wonderful than the previous programs because we have a musical extravaganza. But then I have some documents I have to share with you. I have some things I want to talk to you about, and you're going to be surprised when you see some of these things. We're going to get into that. Whenever you have the time, please check out our website, ojldf.net. Big up producer Joan. Let me just jump to this. Sometimes we have a tendency to kind of like just go right into the program and skip these things, or at least skip this, and this is very important because producer Joan spent a lot of our time doing this, doing the schedule, doing a whole bunch of things, and we don't get to them sometimes. So, but today we are going to get to this. So of course the program's name is Reason with Rattigan, and as I said, I'm your host. We have a full agenda today. Everybody has been asking about the sentence video, and but what he said for telling me now. Hold on a second. What he says. It will be posted under the description, and it's on some of the other videos as well. So check it out. We're gonna play that today. So we have the sentence video. We have, you know, the FBI and Transparency International. They offered to help Jamaica with its corruption issues. We haven't heard anything from the government, but yet, you know, there's this feeling among certain quarters that the government is doing everything it can to address the issue of corruption. And we know that is not the case. So we're watching, waiting to see whether the government will actually accept the offers. Then there is the issue of the anti-bribery bill. And that was supposed to be a part of the 2020, the consensus, the initiative that they started in 2020. And the whole purpose was, you know, to reform the JSCF and to do some things with the judiciary and to do some things with the penal institutions. We haven't seen much. They haven't met much of the significant deadlines. But this is one of them. For some reason, they're dragging their feet on the anti-bribery bill. We think we know why, but we'll get to that. Oh, another topic this one I have to do today. This one is a blueprint for obtaining unaccounted, missing, misappropriated, stolen, or chopped taxpayers' money with no criminal, administrative, or civil consequences. You see the next sentence. It says, poor people who don't have the connection to execute this scheme. So let me tell you what that is about. We are going to show you how you can rob the government, and by extension, you rob the taxpayers, you rob yourself, you rob your family, you rob your community, you rob the country of Jamaica. You rob everybody. We're going to show you how you can do it. In fact, we're going to show you how it was done. But here's the thing. Poor people only have no chance. As it says, poor people don't have the connection to execute this scheme. You will, I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to walk you through it and show you how you can thief the money. But I'm also going to explain to you that you cannot do it. You as a poor person can't do it because you have to be in a certain circle. You have to be in a certain clique. You have to have certain connects, you know, and you don't have them kind of connections there. So you won't be able to do it. But you will understand how it's done, and you'll understand that you have been robbed. And therein lies all you need to know. Because if you've been robbed, you don't sit down and take it. You have to let people know that we understand what's going on and we need a change, we need this, we need that, but things cannot proceed as normal. So we're going to show you that. And it's a very interesting scheme, how it's done. And you're going to see all of the players involved, and you're going to understand why. When I said no criminal, you'll find that you'll see why it's very unlikely that anybody will go to prison. Administrative, is very unlikely that you'll see people disciplined, and civil, is very unlikely that people will pay the money back. So nobody now go to prison, nobody now go get lose them work, and nobody now go now pay back the money. And we're going to show you why the money will not be paid back. We're going to show you that. The administrative part, we'll show you some things going on. The criminal part, we have, I think, like maybe a few months left before them can bring the criminal action. And if they don't, nobody will go to prison. So we're going to explain all of that to you. We have some advice for the diaspora members because we see where ICE is conducting a whole bunch of spot checks and detaining people. So we have some advice for some of our brothers and sisters who they don't have legal status in this country. We also hope to talk about how the government of Jamaica has reneged on its promise. Them promise us things. I know Jamaicans living in Jamaica, not alone them promise things and them promise us things. So, and they don't deliver. They just push out words. They just push out words, and we're supposed to be satisfied with those words. But when it comes to actually doing the work, completing the project, finishing what they said they're going to start, or start what they said they're going to start. When it comes to that, you'll see that none of that has taken place. And we're going to talk about that. So the question is, can we continue to wait in vain for a Senate seat and the right to vote? Oh, today's judgment day for DPP PAULA LLEWELLYN. We're going to show you the documents. We're going to show you some documents. We got them last night. We're going to show you some documents. And based on what I've read so far, Deputy Director Jeremy Taylor, we going to file something against him too, because him jumping at this free here and he have no business in this. This is between a group of complainants and the DPP, and him chuck off in the water and start write all kind of foolishness. And we're going to show you why him going to face our wrath, just as she's facing it right now. But we're also going to show you how it looks as if something are cook up. They might cook up some things because we don't see where the procedures are being followed. Stay tuned. What else we have up here? Producer. Oh, Minister Morris DIXON. Okay, you said there are no missing funds. You don't tell us how you categorize the funds. You tell us what they're not. You don't tell us what they are. So we want to know, where are the taxpayers' funds that you have declared not missing? And some of those funds we will show you when we discuss how to rob the government and by extension rob taxpayers. We're going to show you those funds, and we're going to ask her the question: how do you declare those funds? Do you declare them as missing, unaccounted, stolen, chopped, gone? We're going to ask her. The next topic, I don't think we're going to get to it. Babylon system is a vampire. Who said that? Bob Marley. So the question is, why does the government of Jamaica want to keep it in place? I don't think we're going to get to that today. We have a speaker on that. He'll be here next week. There are some things I'd love to talk about, but we'll just wait. The next topic, Hansard proceedings, bombshell revelations regarding the Integrity Commission on our hypocritical PM. It also should read our hypocritical Minister of Justice, because we're going to show you in 2017 what was said when the bill was discussed. And we're going to show you how hypocritical our Prime Minister is, because you're going to see his own words. You're going to read his own words. And then you will understand when him say, "I sue them," and he want to get rid of the Integrity Commission, the act or aspects of it, as well as the Prevention of Corruption Act, how he want to get rid of that. You'll understand. You'll see exactly what's going on. We don't want to see it already still in there, but we just bring more proof. We just overwhelm them, because people always say, "Oh, someone will just talk, and well, we don't do that around here. We talk just to introduce the document. We don't just talk to say this is the point we're approving. No, we talk and say, here's the point and here's the document." So that's what we're going to do. The next topic, why aren't constituencies holding their MPs accountable for being tardy? TRD, why should be right? So, but anyway, it shouldn't be tardy. It should be for not doing their job. Producer Jonah, my mistake. Sorry about that. But we're gonna show a PNP MP who's been missing in action. And then the question is, I thought the money was supposed to entice them to work and work hard and work harder for their constituencies. In this case, it's not the case. And then we have this last one, we're fooled, but we're not fool. And we're going to talk about the unfulfilled promises and all of that stuff. So it's a lot to talk about today. A lot to talk about. Let me see what else there. Oh yeah, panelists. Yeah, spoke to ISAT this morning. Busy like a bee. I don't know if he'll be able to make it. Prezi, likewise. JAMAICA is here, and Kevin is here. So we'll go through that. Engagement norms. That. Well, I know the thing, people. Be an active listener. Use your time effectively. Be present. So when I say be present so that you can listen to the whole conversation and not just hear one little piece out and then you start make all kinds of fool comment. It says speak to contribute, but when you write in the chat and you have a question, just do it from a constructive standpoint. We have our monitors in the chat and they're not fooling around. The first sign that somebody is being disruptive, disrespectful, you're gone. Celebrate others' contributions, and last but not least, please enjoy the experience. I see Mr. Richard Crooks now. Try come on already. We can't wait. All right. Our guests today, Ms. Danielle Archer. She's a principal director of the National Integrity Action. And we have Ms. Diana McIntyre Pipe, Ms. D. She's a community tourism advocate. She's going to talk about a whole range of things going on with tourism and what the government is planning to do, what the government is doing, and how does that help or hurt community tourism. By the way, Ms. Danielle Archer will be speaking on the anti-bribery bill, and we will delve a little bit into the Constitution. And Mr. Richard Crooks is going to be telling all of you men out there who have that kind of problem, he's going to tell you how he can assist you to get over that kind of problem so that you can get back in the saddle and ride like you've never ridden before. All right? All right, here's a quote from Bob Marley, or at least attributed to Bob Marley, because sometimes people make up things and just say, that man just say it and we're not sure. But it's quite interesting. You will never find justice in a world where criminals make the law. Speaking of criminals, I'm going to show you one. He was a lawmaker too. I don't know how many laws he participated in creating. But here's a criminal. This man here, Leslie Campbell, former state minister, former MP, former junior minister in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. He was a number 2 person to my favorite minister, Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith. This gentleman is a criminal, a convicted criminal. There it is right there. Former State Minister Leslie Campbell found guilty of breaching the Integrity Commission Act. He's facing 6 months in prison, and I think it's $500,000 Jamaican dollars in fines. I'm saying if it's based on a return of funds paid to him, then fine. The government, taxpayers want the money back, right? If it's not based on that, we don't even worry about the fine. Just send him straight to prison, please. Just send him laxes if you lose it in the waist. Don't. You hear that, Richard? So yeah, here is a criminal. 6 months in prison. We're asking. I mean, people should actually go down to the courthouse, or should start already. Go down to the courthouse, start writing articles, and start letting their feelings be known that if we're truly interested in making a dent in corruption in Jamaica, then we need to start taking it seriously. And this man, he's been found guilty already. So it's not a case where somebody's accusing him or somebody said, well, we suspect, and you have the innuendos. No, this is a case where evidence was provided to the triers of fact and the law was applied and they found him guilty. So this man must go to prison. He have to go to prison. We cannot let him go, because if we let him go, we might as well just say, you know what? We really don't give a damn about corruption as long as it involves certain people. So we're not going to prosecute, or we're not going to sentence them to no jail term. We're not going to send out no message like that. We might as well just pack up. Just pack up and say, look, Jamaica is if that's the case, we might as well just say, you know what? Let's try to be the most corrupt nation then. Let's not even bother try pretend. Let's just try and be the most corrupt. Just corruption every day, rampant. Let's do that. But if we don't plan on doing that, if we're really serious, this man must go to prison. He must go to prison. Now, this lady here, and we're not going to stop around here. We're not going to stop putting these pictures up on these things. This lady here, Mrs. Marissa Dalrymple Philibert, former Speaker of the House, former MP, who resigned in disgrace. And I don't know who convinced her to do it, but they're saying that her constituents convinced her to run again. So she's back in the parliament. But she's facing a trial date for 8 counts. 8 counts having to do with a vehicle. Purchase of a vehicle and some concessions she received and a whole range of things. But 8 counts. Essentially, she's accused of filing false information on her statutory declaration. So she's back in the parliament, but she's facing, I think it's a March trial date. She's innocent. Let me stress, despite what you may have read, and despite your perception of the evidence, overwhelming or not, beyond a reasonable doubt or not, she's innocent until a jury or a judge said you're guilty. So let's afford her that constitutional right. But at the same time, we should stand firm in the knowledge that and belief that if she's found guilty, something must be done in terms of punishment, and it shouldn't be a fine. She's going to have to pay back some money because she got some concessions. If she's found guilty, she's going to have to pay back some money because She received some, and I think she's a maybe. I think she may have admitted it. Not sure, but it will come out in the trial. But if found guilty, she's gonna have to pay back some money that she received that she shouldn't have collected from the government, or some benefits that she received she shouldn't have received. So she's gonna have to do something on the civil side, or yeah, on the civil side, pay back some money or whatever. But on the criminal side, if found guilty, she's facing 2 years in prison and up to 2 years and up to $2 million. And I'm saying, take the fine, take whatever she got that she didn't deserve, take it back from her, along with the penalty and interest. But she have to do some time. And have to go back and read the statute. If the statute says it's either or, then we don't want the money. We want her to go to prison. We should keep the money. We should keep the money. So let me go back to producer John. Have me out. You will never find justice in a world where criminals make the law. We're going to show some of that today. So we went over the topics for today, and it's a very ambitious program. But we can be honest and tell you that we're not going to get through all of it. We're just not. Reggae Global Radio wants me to put up the disclaimer, or at least mention the disclaimer, that the opinions you hear today belong to the individual presenters only. And they're not endorsed, and they're not promoted by Reggae Global Radio or the host. The Relax with the Rebel, that is the midnight to 2 a.m. program, right? Saturday night, or technically it's Sunday morning, but we don't know what I'm talking about, right? That program will take place this evening starting at 7. We're not going to start at midnight. It is a highly anticipated musical extravaganza involving yours truly, the Rebel, DJ Kevin Stew, and Jamaica's #1 legal DJ, Hugh Wildman. He said he's registered. That's what he said. He's a what? #1. No, he's a registered #1 legal DJ in Jamaica. So I don't know. I'm trying to convince him that, listen, come and make us just play some music and people have fun. He's of the opinion that no one might come and a clash, him might come for clash. Well, a clash thing with him. But that's about us play music and have all of your people. At least when me play, I can tell you that when I go and hear some music, I'm gonna hear for a long time. And you know, I'm gonna mix it up because I'm gonna play for people. We looked at the demographics. I would say that a lot of people who listen to the program, they range from the 40s to the 70s. We don't have too many young people. But, you know. Oh, and by the way, the reason why we won't be focused on the latest releases is because Mr. Wildman suggested that we play music from the 60s, 70s, 80s. And he said that he wants to play only one genre, and that is R&B. He said he's an R&B specialist, and that's what he's coming to play. And we obliged him. We say, yes, man, sure, come and we play it. And the format, we'll explain it later on, but I think it's going to be like each person will get to play for about 20 to 30 minutes. And again, we need a clash thing, you know, we just niceness we come for the, you know, we just come for nice of the people and play some nice music. And by the way, you, the listening audience, you can jump on and just the viewing audience and go into the chat and say, hey, I don't hear this song and I love to hear this song. And make we know, because look, I personally am a novice when it comes to this. DJ Kevin Stew he's a DJ. And you see the title, the title, DJ, right? And Mr. Wildman, he's a registered DJ. I am not registered and I'm not a DJ. I just love music. And my exposure to R&B was at Meadowbrook because you know all of the rich people in musical school, them have a little sound system or whatever, and have a party on a Friday night. Yeah, I used to go and listen to them music because down in the ghetto, we never used to hear much of them songs except my mother would have sing to my father sing to my mother in the 60s, but never really used to hear a lot of R&B. It's mostly reggae, ska, and rock steady. So that's where we are. So tonight, remember, we start at 7 o'clock. DJ Kevin Street is going to give you more details on that, but we'll start at 7, and the genre will be R&B. So all of you people out there, it's cool, especially if you live in the Northeast. It's cold outside. No, it's not cold. It's cold. Come and go out there today. It's cold. I'm not saying I'm weird. It's cold. So, just get all the things ready and just sit in and just be prepared to enjoy some really, really nice music. We'll take you. It'll be nostalgic. We'll take you down memory lane. At least I am going to take you down memory lane. So that's where we are. Easy Like Sunday with the Rebel. That's a Sunday program. Stay tuned for that. We haven't decided when we're coming back. It will be soon though. So and then on Wednesday, this past Wednesday, Come Reason with Rattigan, Dr. Ben was on with a few of his colleagues, and they were dealing with women's issues and concerns. And based on the feedback, it was a very informative and successful show. So next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, we will feature men's health. So you can't afford to miss it. So you're going to get some. You're going to hear from Mr. Crookson today, and then you're going to hear from Dr. Ben on Wednesday. All right, people, let's continue to pray for Papa Trevor, Ma P, big up yourself. See you in a couple of weeks. Ma Jean, see you soon. Desmond, Paul, Bunny Jump, big up yourself, my brother. Joanna Marie, the boss lady, get well soon. Fittest the artist, Dread. Mrs. Nelson, Bob De Souza, Barry. By the way, Barry, look like you get welcome. I see you on video. See you on video with I think Michigan. Michigan must have a show in New York. I see you up in the front and dance about a carry on. So it look like you over your health issues. Mr. Baxter, Sassy D, Raleigh, Danny Goops, and Roland, the valiant one, the man who's listening right now, the man who joined me in the fight to deal with the Jamaican government, and he's doing it all the way from the UK. Big up on yourself. Big up our ambassadors. Oti and the group. Omar and Michelin start calling him because we know me I forget some names and people say I'm not calling my name. And of course, producer Joan. I want to say big up my corner street body shop in the Bronx. Big up on yourself, big up on yourself. The car soon come up there. So I mean Richard our car will need some body work. So we're gonna bring that car them come up there. Again, people, my corner street body shop in the Bronx. Yes. All right, folks, listen. We press for time. So we'll bring on Mr. Crooks now. And we'll just jump in at the thing. We'll bring on JAMAICA and we'll bring on Kevin. Well, Kevin on. Right. Kevin jump on already. All right, sit down here. All right. All right, JAMAICA, welcome. Richard, big up yourself. Kevin Stu.
Hello. Blessings.
Hello.
All right. JAMAICA, you want to say anything before we turn it over to Mr. Crooks?
Hey, blessings to you, man. I think we should be courteous and let the gentleman come in first.
All right. Kevin are not in agreement. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Richard Crooks, founder, owner, CEO, head cook and bottle washer over at Rissan Primary. He's on today to talk about a subject that's near and dear to people like me, not me, but people like me, people who pass a certain age and a certain stage, and you cannot slow down. So he want to talk to you about that, and then we just move from there. If you have questions, throw them in the chat. As you know, we don't take phone calls on the program. So without further ado, Richard, welcome.
All right, welcome. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you speak up louder, sir?
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Let me
put
the mic up.
Put the mic on your upper, sir.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. Mike,
Yeah, I realize that I put my closer to my mouth.
put it back on your shirt.
I don't know. I mean, there's some kind of technical issue. Anyway, listen, today, I want to talk about testosterone. I'd like to briefly talk about what it is, its function, in the human body, and, even the lack thereof. Also, we want to talk about how we treat testosterone in our practice. What is testosterone? Testosterone is produced in our body. Both male and female produce this hormone. And what it does, it helps in the development of, our muscles. It gives us the oomph, the energy that we need to carry out, just everyday stuff, everyday, activities. It is our primary driver in our sex hormone. And what we see coming through our doors, which is on a regular basis. This is the reason why we start this program is, here at the office, is because, we have been seeing, men coming in complaining about, they just feel out of sort. They've lost their edge. They've lost their oomph. So some of the symptoms that we're seeing in our practice, it's like a low libido, even no libido at all. We're seeing weight gain. We're seeing, erectile dysfunction, muscle weakness. We're seeing chronic fatigue. We're seeing, mood swings, depression. We're seeing hair loss. As a matter of fact, we had a patient yesterday who was just telling me about how, he noticed that his hair started growing back. And also we have seen in men hot flashes actually. We're seeing gynecomastia. Gynecomastia is a condition where men start growing breasts, as they gain the weight. We're seeing memory loss. We're seeing lack of energy, in men. And I'd like to also talk about women. Unfortunately, you're not off the hook. We have also female patients who show some conditions. When their testosterone is significantly low.
Mr. Crooks, 1 second, please. People in the chat, they're saying that they can't hear. Can you speak up louder, sir?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me now?
Just keep talking because they're writing in the chat. So.
Oh, okay. All right. So as I was saying that I've seen women. Unfortunately, they're not off the hook. We're seeing some symptoms where we see depression. We're seeing even hair loss. We're seeing hot flashes, vaginal dryness. We're seeing muscle weakness in women, weight gain, irregular menstrual cycle, as well as just difficulty concentrating. So just having this hormone that is depleted in your system due to whether we're getting older or being exposed to these endocrine chemicals really affect us in a way that we need to seek actual treatment so we can feel normal again, so we can feel balance again, so we can be the person that we know we are to be. So the thing is, here at Risen, we have a nice program here that will definitely bring you back into, back into to normalcy actually. And if you have any questions, you can give to Nika a call, and she'll hand you over to me, and I can be available to answer any questions. So I'm open for whatever questions that you guys may have.
Kevin, JAMAICA.
Welcome back, Richard.
Yeah, thank you.
Good. I don't know how it is that people not hearing you, because I'm hearing you loud and clear. You're much better than you were last time.
Okay. I don't know.
No, man, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
All right.
You're not as clear as me, but
Okay.
my The I'm sure it is quite mind blowing for many, the concept of men growing breasts and having hot flashes. When a man walks into you, does he walk in and say, "Boy, doc, I've been having some hot flashes, talk to me, what going on?" Or does he come in and say, "Boy, I don't know what is going on. I just uncontrollably hot, and then my cold, and then my hot again. I don't know." And do you tell people at around about a certain age this thing might happen?
Yeah, the thing is, what we do when a patient comes in, especially new patient, even our existing patient, what we do, we run a series of tests to see, and also age-related tests that we run to see what may be the issue. Just to make sure that everything is okay. When we get a red flag on the lab report, we just go down that route. The thing is, it's a patient may come in and they're complaining about we have numerous amount of patients who come in and complain about fatigue. So the thing is, that sends us in many different directions. So what we have to do is narrow that, just be an investigator and narrow that whole, investigative process. So the thing is, a lot of times if we have a male, we have seen male, from 35 to about 70, but we have 78 years old, who we expect for these, testosterone levels to be low. However, if it is low, what we do is we do additional tests. We don't just throw you on the medication itself. We try to see what may be the contributing factor. Some of it we can't do anything about. Just like as I mentioned in the previous program and even today, that, for example, endocrine disrupting chemicals, they're a part of our lives. They're part of our daily lives, which, depletes a lot of hormones that are in our system. So what we do is we also check for a hormone that is called DHEA. We check your prolactin. These are hormones that are in the system itself that if they're on the low end of the spectrum, we try to supplement them. And, what we're seeing so far by supplementing, these men is, we get a positive feedback. We get a positive results because they come in and they talk about how they're energized, they're doing their normal regular routine stuff. And as I mentioned even yesterday, we had a patient who was talking about that his hair is growing back. So I mean, even to answer your question earlier, man might come in and complain about breast growing. But the thing is, a lot of times, the reason why the breast gets bigger is because the testosterone, gets low, and he's gaining weight, and that becomes an issue. So the thing is, we're seeing quite a number of different, symptoms of this testosterone depletion, and we'll combat it with different programs that we have here. And, each individual, is, comes in, and we make sure that they're treated appropriately, with testosterone for testosterone therapy.
So, like, in women it's called menopause, and men is it called women on pause?
Repeat that. I didn't hear you.
In women it's called menopause. So with women is it called in men is it called women on pause?
No, it's not.
Oh, I just what is there a name for it?
Yeah, there is. And that name was put my mind because it's not really a medical name. That it's just something that was thrown out there and it caught on, but I'm not really familiar You know, there are quite a few medical terms that are used for men who you know, have experiences, hot flashes. You know, low testosterone is hypogonadism is one of them, which is, you know, men who experience these hot flashes where they have low testosterone. You know, so there are many different names, but not officially medical names that are that is associated with you know, these hot flashes condition.
Just andropause.
Andropause, yes, andropause, right.
As playing.
I mean,
Yes,
yes,
done.
go
Yes,
ahead.
done. people in the chat taking me to task.
You know, the thing is that
Somebody have a question. They said, Nicole, she said, what if someone thing is dead because of prostatic cancer? How could he get it back up to working?
could you repeat that? Repeat that.
What if someone thing is dead because of prostate cancer? How could he get it back up to working?
Well, actually, the thing is, if one of the contraindication, which is a no-no, contraindication means a no-no to treat a patient with a condition. One of the things that we don't do is we don't treat men with um, you know, PSA issues or prostate cancer until they're cleared by their urologist. You know, and then you know, we take it up, and I mean, if they're cleared, if they're fine, you know, we you know, I collaborate with the urologist and, you know, make sure that, you know, we go in a stepwise process. Hmm.
Jamaica?
Jamaica's quiet. Oh, I want to put on him hat. You can't even see him face. Turn your bad light.
You know,
Your face.
I just want to say that, you know,
Hey,
as long as the patient is safe, as long as the patient is healthy, and not dealing with prostate issue or women with breast cancer, we don't treat, you know, with testosterone until they're cleared by, you know, their oncologist or, you know, their urologist.
hey, good evening. I'm taking it in, man. I'm taking it in. I'm in a tough crowd, you know, so, you know, I have 1, 2, 3, a tough crowd. I mean, so pleasant evening to everybody in the chat. Welcome back to Reasoning with Rattigan, man. It's always a great pleasure being here. People continue to like and to share because my son, 8 years old, is liking and sharing. That means that the knowledge is reaching the youth, and it's far, man. And I give thanks to that. Each time I come here, it's a opportunity to come and talk about free business in Jamaica. What
Yeah.
Mr. Rattigan is doing, Mr. Cruikshan out here, Kevin as well. It's nothing short of amazing. And we have to give thanks that we have a space for that. Archimedes once said, give me a firm ground to stand on and I will move the earth. And as we can see, education is a firm ground to stand on. And I remember somebody the other day saying to me, somebody saying to me the other day that Jamaica needs a change. And I'm saying, no, man, Jamaica changed right in front of our eyes because the education there for free education we're getting right here. So when you see me silent just now, I'm just taking it in. Mr. Cruikshan, thank you again for being here so we can talk about the health because it's only one vehicle we have to carry us through life, this body. And somebody with your expertise, amazing to be here. My question for you is how comfortable are men to come in and talk about health issues like these, especially when it comes on to the reproductive organ? And also a second question to it, what is your recommendation for men and women facing challenges, health challenges?
Good question. You know, where do I start? So this is a difficult question for men, you know, because usually when I get a referral, it's the wife actually who complain about, or the boyfriend or the lover who's just not, you know, not what he should be or not what where he should be. Start out great, and they just see a drop off in his activity as well as his sexual activity. As I said, testosterone is a primary male sex hormone. It's like a steroid. It's what gives you the oomph, what gives you the desire, what gives you the energy to perform the way you should be performing as as an individual. So the thing is, it's very difficult for men to have that conversation among men. However, it gets to a point where it becomes an issue in a relationship, and a lot of times, sometimes men come in privacy, and speak to me about it as well. Um, However, we're just not having that discussion amongst ourselves enough, because this is a very important issue. We need to be normal, in a normal place where we are functioning normal in the way that we should. Um, you know, I have a patient recently who came in, and he said that he was so happy with the program that he says that three of his other friends. I mean, he's not afraid to talk about his issues, and he has three of his other friends who have signed up for the program itself. We've had this program in operation for about several years now, and it's recently started taking traction. And we're glad, because I mean, at least the word is getting out that something needs to be done, something needs to be said and done about these issues, because what's happening to us, you know, the depletion of our testosterone, the depletion of our hormones itself, the disruption of our hormones, it's becoming an issue with uh, with our lifestyle. It puts us at risk for cardiac disease. It puts us at risk for prostate. It puts us at what's that?
Oh, I was thinking something, so I'm amazed that you actually heard it. You mentioned diets. What kind of diets you were talking about for men as they were going up in age
Right.
that help with preventing or help with the recovery when diagnosed with issues like these?
Oh, okay. That- it's when you're, and that's a really good question, because actually diet doesn't play a significant role. However, it does play a role. If you keep a healthy diet, of course,
Mhm.
it will make a difference. However, there are herbs that are out there that will make a difference, but the herbs they're so infinitesimally small gains in taking these herbs that it's more psychological as opposed to you know um, herbal. So the thing about it is that if you see that if you discover that, if you find out that you're having a low, low, if you're lacking energy, if you're lacking libido, if you're lacking, just wanting to get out there and do things, clean the yard, if you just don't have those energies, something more fundamental that is going on that you need to check. And one of the things that we do here definitely is checking testosterone. Any male that comes in over the age of 35, what we usually do is, we check their testosterone. We also check their prolactin. The prolactin is the one that's the enzyme that brings down the testosterone. And excuse me. As I mentioned earlier, the DHEA is also one that hormone in the body. It also is a precursor for the testosterone itself. It helps the testosterone to produce in the system itself. So to add more information to your question, diet, yes, to eat a healthy diet, of course. However, it's not going to make much difference. As well as exercise, yes, those pelvic floor exercises extremely important. However, that's not gonna it's not gonna increase the production of hormones in your system in the way that it should, that you're seeing a significant difference. You need
pelvic floor exercises, Doc? You mean like those?
yeah, but you do need help, hormonal replacement therapy, and that's why it's in place. Because once it drop off, I mean, yes, it does help in a way, but incrementally small, and then it's just like you know as you get older, you just have to supplement it in a way. It's just like taking vitamins.
Got you. Somebody in the chat mentioned the white of watermelons. That little section between the juicy red and
Right.
the not to be eaten green.
Right.
And can you speak on that?
Well,
I don't know if that's more of a Dr. Ben question.
Right. I think he'd be more appropriate to speak to him on that, because I mean, I'm more trained in Western medicine. Unfortunately, herbal. Yes, I do study, and I have an idea of what can what are the modalities that you can add on to your diet, your treatment, to help help you sustain and get better results. However, Dr. Ben would be the appropriate gentleman to speak to in regards to watermelon. But I have heard the white part does the white portion of the watermelon does increase your libido. However, it increases your libido, but doesn't increase the testosterone. You understand? So you have to be careful. And
Right.
to what measurement? Does it increase it?
You muted, Rebel. You muted.
I saw something recently. Actually, it's not recent. I saw it several months ago where a doctor he said that some of the times it's not decreased libido or a decrease in the testosterone level. He said it's here, it's in your mind, because he said, and I'm not supporting it. People, so no, course me know me. I go say I'm not supporting it. I'm just saying what I heard, and I'm asking Mr. Crooksnick if there's any validity to it. He said that we, as creatures, we were not created for monogamy. And he said in his studies, what he's done is if a man said, look, I can't get it up with my wife, and I've been married for 30 years, and we used to have great sex, and now it's just horrible, whatever. He said one of the things he has suggested, and it's worked, is to find another partner and see how things work out before we start the treatment. And he said you'd be surprised, because he said, my uncle used to tell me one is a family program. This I don't want to say, but he used to say one kill. So is there any validity to that? That if you have, if you start having, these symptoms, that if you get another partner, maybe, you'll find that the problem is not, the problem is just, what I'm saying, what the term they say, familiarity breeds contempt. It's like you just get used to one thing, and then somebody say, yeah, eat bread every day, you want to try crackers or, piece of bun or something like that. I shouldn't use the word bun, because that has a connotation in Jamaica, and there's a report this week that a whole man get bun, that I think 40% of the kids go out there, the American embassy, and not for them. So, but anyway, comment on that, please, sir.
Well, I agree with you 100%. When
is that personal experience why you're agreeing with me, or no? I'm just asking if there's a study. Come on, laugh.
I mean, I've heard. No. I've had patients.
Yeah, just like I said, I heard about it. I'm not supporting it. I'm just saying I heard about it.
And the thing is, I mean, that's a pretty good question. And actually, there have been issues where familiarity kind of takes away from the libido itself. So yes, I do agree. However, I have seen, interestingly enough, I've seen where person do have low testosterone level. However, being engaged in, you know, patients have actually ever spoke to me about this. Being engaged in another, outside our relationship, have make him feel alive again. But the thing is, remember that testosterone is like it's a natural human steroid. Yes. However, if you have an issue with low testosterone, it's not just helping your sex life. It also contributes to a lot of other stuff, a lot of uh, activities. It gives you the as I've mentioned so many times, the oomph. And the thing is, what an individual when an individual find himself in that situation, what I would recommend is see a sex counselor, because it's not you know see a sex counselor where they may need to do something different, or have a conversation with your partner and see what you mutually can come up with that may benefit the relationship. So yeah, I mean, I agree with your
Okay.
Hold on one second. Kevin,
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you our next guest, Miss Lady D. She said that I guess she's having some technical difficulty. So I'm gonna send her a number if you can reach out to her, because she said she opened the link, but all she's seeing is she's just seeing just me alone sitting down. So I don't know. And then hey, Megawatt, don't get me in that trouble, okay? So Megawatt in our chat saying what tell his significant other that I recommend that him try a different partner. I never said that.
say that again.
He's going to Megawatt is saying that he's going to go to his partner, his person, and say that it was recommended by Rebel for him.
Hold on, I'm gonna link you up to Kevin now. He's bringing that. Hold on.
Now, is it this leads to, it's more of a night shift kind of a discussion.
Right.
So I don't know, Rebel getting into my territory.
No. Kevin, do me a favor. I don't want to. Sorry to interrupt you, but our next guest.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, if you can just just talk to her, please, and bring her. We'll just continue the conversation here. But hey, Megawatt, I never tell you that, I never tell you that. So please don't go there and tell people say. And I see a lot of comments now concerning that. Somebody put varieties, the spice of life. Serene put that. Somebody said that is true. You need, I guess. Miriam said bone. Andrew said ladies have the same complaint too. And Agri said the mind is indeed the biggest and most powerful sex organ.
Yes, it's a psychosynchronic nature of some of our ailments. The things that affect the mind affecting the body. When you consider health care, you look at the mind, body, the spirit, if you're on a religious or spiritual side. And so these are some of the things that Dr. Crookson is kind of talking to and kind of staying away
around.
Staying within the realm of his profession.
No, you come on. I just did you talk to Kevin a while
Rebel,
ago?
your mic is still on, Rebel. Yeah.
Oh.
Richard, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, man, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, you were asking me a question?
Well, I want to ask you a question before you go.
Yeah, talk with Jamaica. Let me help out our next guest real quick.
All right. I just want to check. Is everybody hearing me properly? Are you hearing me properly, Mr. J?
Hear you.
I just, because I saw earlier in the comment section that people were saying that they weren't hearing me clearly. I hope I'm being very clear. First thing, we're not promoting polygamy. That's the first thing. We're having uncomfortable conversation. That means that there's growth, because we're getting to hear other people's perspective and talk about things that are in the social atmosphere. And I think a lot of this thing about trying something new, trying a different partner, it is what we see in society. It's coming more of the norm. So a lot of the things that we do is it's affected by how we consume things in the social space. And I heard you made mention of they need to consult with their neurologist, or you work alongside a neurologist, because it is a great mindset. Mindset will cause a lot of people to do things like these and to have these type of things. So how comfortable are you to speak to your patients about these things? Have they come to you having these concerns? And I just want to know if everybody in the comment section hearing me properly, because I want to know that I'm being heard, because a lot of people were saying that they weren't hearing me. But I hope you remember the question.
Okay. Well, I mean, the thing is, when we send a patient to urologist, it's mostly because, we have discovered that there is you know, um, an elevation in PSA, the prostate-specific antigen levels that may be make them susceptible to cancer, or developing cancer in the prostate itself. So we don't want to put we don't want to introduce a hormone, a synthetic hormone in the system itself while there's this condition going on. So what we do is we make sure that they're cleared by a urologist, and then we can move forward. Um, you know, the thing is to go back a little on regarding polygamy, or if you don't have several partners at one time. The thing about it is that some people work well with this type of lifestyle. The thing is, my issue with that is that make sure that if you have a partner, it's the way you go about doing things. If you have a partner, just be open and honest about what your purposes are, your plan is. And the thing is, a lot of times our life just is not just conducive to switching from one partner to the next. So we stay with one, and then we seek others. So the thing is, it's just about about how you go about doing things, and the thing is, a lot of times, I don't want to get off the topic, but a lot of times, the trust is lost. There's a lot of deception, and it even costs more a greater issue as far as your activity, your sexual activity. It's less. It's and just problems.
So you're suggesting, sorry, so you're suggesting more of interactions about these type of things, counseling, um,
Absolutely. I mean, more
conversation,
more
more.
conversation.
So
You know,
interrelationship conversations, and also getting professional help,
right.
because sometimes it can be a mindset of a fling, a thing. If you go on the social media, even though it was always in the public space where people talk about it, but we're seeing it right at our fingertip each time we scroll on the social media, where we either get to read it or we see it. Um, when you do recommend, when they come to you, do you recommend that they seek counseling or guidance, and how do you treat these type of things when you get these conversations? And just to ask, do you get these kind of conversation about polygamy, and I'm talking about people getting tired of their partner, or
Right.
they suggest that maybe that's one of the reasons?
Right. And that's an excellent question. What happened is that, as I mentioned earlier, quite a number of times I hear, the female come in and complain about their partners, and that they're just not happy with what's going on with the partner, and the partner is just not. I just had a I just had a thought. I have a 80-year-old patient who, interestingly, I have an 80-year-old patient, 82, I'm sorry, 82-year-old patient who she's very much sexually active, excited, always talking about, huh?
No,
What's
I
it?
was just drinking some water. I
Oh,
heard the age and I was just drinking some water.
okay. No,
That's all.
I have an 82-year-old female patient who, just comes in and she just comes in to talk, have a conversation about her partner, who's I think he's about 67, but he has prostate cancer, and she's just really upset. She's really upset that he doesn't touch her, he doesn't do anything. The thing is, my best advice to her would be to have a conversation with a man. And if that is not working, to have a conversation with, a sex therapist. But the thing about it is that if the man is not in the mood for anything, there's nothing, it's like raising the dead. There's nothing, and imagine now, this is an 82-year-old female. She just comes in to talk about, not for treatment, she comes in for regular routine checks. Um, but she's really upset about, you know, that he's just not active in any way, shape, or form.
And
And,
this type of behavior, sorry to cut you,
uh,
Richard. So this type of behavior, I know that you mentioned of the 82-year-old lady, but do you see a recurrence of this type of behavior where ladies or even male coming openly to say have these conversation, and also are there groups, organization that is their outreach programs about these things because these things affect the human psychology.
right, absolutely. And the thing about it is that, what I usually do is, I would refer, the patients, say, for example, the patients who are having, just not having any activity or any type of, interaction with the partner itself. I would recommend the patient to a urologist, because there are other alternatives than to just not do anything at all. Because I mean, she's as I said, 82 years old, still interactive, still excited, and complain enough that she comes and see me every 3 months and complain about his lack of activity. So what I do is I just refer her over to, well, not her, but him over to the urologist, and he is being followed by urologists, but there are prostheses that can help in the matter. You know, um, there's always something that can be done. Not at men are not at a loss. But it's a difficult, listen, it's a difficult topic that that we deal with on a regular basis. I mean, it affects so much areas, so much facets of our lives. And the thing is, it's interesting. It's just one hormone that throws us off, throws us really for a loop. As we get older, we just lose it. And the thing is, it touches in every different aspect. We don't feel like going out and clean the yard, or we don't feel like, being loving to our spouse, or we don't feel like engaging in activity, sexual activity now, with our partners, and so on. And it just, it's all, testosterone is our steroid, and when that is depleted, we're just not who we are. Who knows? Maybe somebody else will do it for us, but and that is not good. So we need to get it straight. We need to get it back in normalcy. And it's I can tell you that from the testimonies, from the complaints that I get from my patients, I you know it affects them in so many different areas of their life that and when I see them get the proper treatment, when I see them back in normalcy again, they're totally and completely different person from the person that came in. And as I said that, we started this program a few years ago, and about a year after, it took traction, and it just took off, and we've been getting some good results from our patients.
I myself want to talk to you about that, um, Richard, because getting up in age myself, I like to think proactive versus reactive. And so to stay ahead of the curve, no pun intended, it would be a wise thing to do. So I would recommend to anybody listening right now that have any man in their life, partner, friend, cousin, neighbor, teacher, whomever. What do you say, Richard? About age 30, 35?
Well, 35.
Yeah. To start and I passed 35. I never thought I'd be able to say this. I passed 35 long time.
I like y'all tell, man.
I passed 35 over a decade ago.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well done, man.
Kevin.
Yeah.
We keep talking about the men, but also this affects the women just as badly, because yeah, women are on the same journey as we are, because if we're not doing anything, that means that you're not fulfilled. So and not only that, when you see low testosterone in women, you'll see some symptoms of depression, hot flash. You'll see vaginal dryness. You'll see muscle weakness. You'll see weight gain, irregular menstrual cycle. You'll see even issue with concentration. So it's not just the men that are affected. So it's not. Listen, we keep talking about the men. It's both men and women. It's just that women produces testosterone on a much, much smaller scale than men. And for men, said that it's a steroid, a natural produced steroid in our system itself.
Listen.
Yes.
Do you have any more questions? Because we have our next guest. She's with us, and we want to bring her on. So before you go, Richard, any parting words for men who are suffering from the symptoms we have spent some time describing today?
Yeah, the thing is, if for the men in our community, even we also treat remotely. For men who are just not feeling themselves, for men who are not engaged in their partner's life in the way that they want to, and continue to make excuses, and just do a check on your hormones, and check how everything is going. We here at Risen Primary Care, we do have a good program. It's individually, it's custom made for each individual. So the thing is, for everyone that comes through the door, we have a good program for them. All right.
All right, provide your contact details, please.
Right. All right. So our email is risen, RISSONPC @gmail.com. Again, that's
Kevin. I think, don't we have that somewhere that we can just throw it up? I believe
we did not make it a part of our description on the broadcast on YouTube, so we'll have to add it.
Okay.
Okay. So again, this RISONPC @gmail.com. Our phone number is 718-717-2278. Again, it's 718-717-2278. Our address is 3215 Avenue H, Brooklyn, New York, 11210.
All right. So folks, reach out to Mr. Crookson at Risen Primary Care, and go in and see him at the very least. And like you said, the program is custom made. One size doesn't. No, I shouldn't say that. How do I say this? Go in and see him and relate your problems, your issues to him, and he will make sure to customize a regimen for you, a treatment regimen for you, and you will be fine. Trust me on that. All right. And I said, trust me on that because I'm taking his word on it. I'm not a patient for that particular regimen, so I can't tell you anything about that.
But again, Rebel, preventative care is better
Yeah.
than
That's true.
There you go.
here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Get educated.
So you
Right.
probably need to get on board with
Right.
one of his programs so that you don't get to that point.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I agree.
Right. And they can Google and find it, all right? Just just Google Rison Primary Care, Brooklyn, New York, and you'll get all the details right there. RISSON, that's the name.
Or you can
Rison
follow the link
Primary Care.
You can follow the link OT just put in the chat.
Oh,
Brooklyn.
OT put a link. Oh, there it is. Everybody, look at 420. OT just put the link in the chat. So you can go
Yes.
there and then you'll get all the details. You'll find this man and his wonderful staff, and they're not promising to raise the dead, but they're promising to work with the dead.
To extend some life.
Right. Richard, big up yourself. Big up yourself, yes. I love TT for me. I will talk soon.
All right. All right.
Thanks for the
Thank you.
advocacy.
All right. Folks, thanks.
All right.
It's a pleasure.
So you know what I think I'll do? I think I'll do a broadcast on andropause and testosterone. I did one before. I held a broadcast about. I think I'm going to do it again and bring on Richard.
Yeah.
I'm looking at 2 Tuesdays from now. I'll probably do that. So
Yeah,
I'll
bring
link
him
with
on.
Richard. Yeah, I'll link with Richard. So men who are
And then
listening
we
to
should
this,
also do a program with the doctor who says that it's all here, because if you get a different partner and say that, you'll be fine. You know, you don't need the chemicals, you don't need the herbs, you just need a different partner and you'll be good.
give me a name and I can reach out to him. I don't know what's going on with your mic, Rebel. Somehow you don't sound like.
Hold on a second.
It doesn't
Mic
even sound
check.
like.
Mic check. Mic.
Yeah,
Mic.
I hear you. You know, it
But it
just
don't
doesn't
sound
sound like you're going through the microphone into the system. So that is weird. So
I've been getting complaint about mine as well. Is everybody hearing me properly?
yours good, Jamaics. Yours good. But
Mic
we can
check.
still hear you.
Mic check. You can't hear me now. Mic check.
No.
Microphone.
We're hearing you. You know, I'm just saying that it doesn't sound like you're coming through the mic at all.
How about now?
No, same way.
No.
Not sure. It doesn't sound that way for real.
Yeah, it's coming through something, but it's not the microphone. It's probably through the camera mic. And I looked at your settings just now, and it doesn't seem like it should be coming through the camera mic. If you raise your hand and snap your finger, you'd have an idea.
Mic check.
No, that's not the camera. That's not the mic. If you press mute on the mixing board right now, I'm sure I can still hear you.
Mic.
So I can still hear you. So it's a camera that you're coming through and not the microphone. But no worries for right now, because we want to bring on.
Okay. All right, folks.
Nah, you're
We have. You can't hear me?
I hear you.
But it's not coming through the mic for real.
It's not the mic, but we're hearing you.
Okay. Wow. What does this mean for later?
Again, fret not.
Okay. All right. Look, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, boys and girls, we have a very special guest with us. All of our guests are special, but you know, when we have a Richard Crookson, he comes on a frequent basis, and he's special. But we have a lady here who's coming on, and she's very special because it's her first time coming on the program. Her name is Diana McIntyre Pike. She is affectionately known as Lady D or Diana, and she's involved in something called community tourism, something that the government said that it had an interest in, or still has an interest in, and that it was going to develop that sector of tourism. I haven't seen it, and I've spoken to lots of people, they haven't seen it, but this lady that I'm about to bring on, she's a pioneer when it comes to community tourism. Everybody knows her. She's internationally known. And in fact, if I had my way, she would be a consultant to the tourism ministry, because she has so much to offer. Anyway, without further ado, Diana, where you gone? You take off for me.
Should run off.
Yeah, yes, she gone. I'm not gone. Are your fault, not Kevin?
She heard the intro you're giving and gone to find who it is that you're talking about. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'll wait for Diana for come, people. So, but in the meantime, yeah, I get a feedback.
Yeah, and
Mic check.
I'm just waiting for her to come on and start talking so I can play with your system a little bit.
Okay. Them say you are clear.
No, I am clear. Nobody not clear like me.
Peter Big asked if me anything about the mayor of St. Anne. You're talking about the gentleman who he made almost slice off, I think. Yeah, I've heard some things, but we're not going to talk about him today. Oh, Andrew said, me hear you clearly when your eyes wide open. All right, Andrew. Talk to me, Andrew. Tell me so you can't hear me.
Joel,
hey, you know what? While we're just gone, I could just play this up.
Oh, St. Anne.
Come on, big up St. Anne, big up St. Anne. Manig.
Listen,
And soon in the home. Eh?
man, people, night and day. Listen, know you sound good now. Night and day.
Hey,
Oh, hey. I get like a reverb, brother.
What's
right.
up now over there?
All right, maybe me turn up the volume. Turn up the thing them too high. All right, me turn them down. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Diana, here she is. Yes, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine, waiting patiently on you.
Yeah. Sometimes that I forgot, you know. In this age of technology, you know, sometimes we depend too heavily on it and it fails us, you know, like today. But we're happy to have you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's
All right.
in vain.
Yeah. No, folks. Diana, as I said, she's a pioneer in the tourism industry, particularly when it comes to community tourism. What I'd like to do at this point, Diana, since it's your first time on the program, I'd like you to just explain to our viewers, our listeners,
who is Diana McIntyre Pike? Lady D, Diana, and what role do you
Yeah.
play in the tourism sector?
Well, the role I play is that I've had a vision from long ago, which was inspired by my parents, in particular my mother, who was the pioneer of the grill, that we cannot have tourism development without the community involvement, and that was being done from I was a child. And when I went to the holiday into work, I noticed that there was nothing there about Jamaica. It was just, American food and atmosphere. Even the waiters were speaking with a twang. I said, no, man, this can't work. So I introduced the Jamaica chit chat session at the time. And that's where my journey started. I got a lot of attention over it, publicity, because I was introducing community people in those sessions to come into the hotel and rap with the guests for 2 hours. And then I went from there, and the late Ibiza called me and said he wanted me to work for him. So I went to Runaway Bay Hotel, and I was given a German scholarship. This is after coming back from the UK, studying hotel management and tourism. And I went to Germany and studied tourism management as well. Why I'm mentioning that's a quick background. That's a quick background. I came home and decided it cannot continue the way it is in Jamaica. So I went back to my family hotel in Mandeville because my parents moved from Westmoreland to Mandeville and started a hotel called the Astra. And when I went to the sorry?
No, we're hearing you.
Yeah, when I went to the Astra, I decided we're going to introduce community in the hotel business. And I went to Desmond Henry, who was then the director of tourism, and said, we need to come up with a name, a brand name, to market this. And we sat in my hotel dining room and we coined the name as 48 Community Tourism. And from then, it became prominent. And now it's more prominent worldwide because of the International Institute for Peace Through Tourism that has endorsed us as a way forward for sustainable development. And I got a spiritual direction to call it Villages as Businesses. And Villages as Businesses has taken off very positive, showing communities how to manage your community as a business, do a business plan, and be able to attract investment, etc. So we're not just developing it for tourism, we're doing it for their economic livelihood. And we have had support from the UN. They asked us to do a presentation on it. We've got support from the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States because we're showing them that community tourism is community development, and that under community tourism, you have community-based tourism. And community-based tourism is where the entrepreneurship lies, where we do the training. And now we're doing the training with the Northern Caribbean University Entrepreneurship Center, Morris Entrepreneurship Center, for 5 days. And in that training, they learn how to be a true entrepreneur, to understand that an entrepreneur is not just somebody who owns a business. It's more than that, somebody who's willing to fail and be able to have a mission and move forward. And it has been very well received by the community because they now see they can move forward independently without having other people interfere with them. I'm sorry to say, but not even the government needs to be involved. If they want to be involved, they can, but they will put together their own future. And that's what we're really going for. So the diaspora has been selected as our main partners because we want to set up a fund called the Community Tourism Fund, Fund. And that will now offer low interest loans and grant funding for community projects. So that's the stage we're at now. And then we are putting together now this year the International Community Tourism, Jamaica and the Caribbean, Home of Community Tourism, which was branded by the International Institute for Peace Through Tourism some years ago. And the founder, Lou Moore, has agreed to be the patron. So we're going to do a whole year of activities, study tours, village projects, etc. So you're going to hear more about that. But that's it in a nutshell. I have a life that has been very challenging, but I won't go into that except to say that God moves in a mysterious way. That's it. I'm a mother.
You mute.
I have 2 wonderful sons, so that's it.
Okay. Fortunately for us today, we have somebody on the panel who's a regular panelist who's been involved in the tourism sector, and I'm sure he has a lot of questions he would like to ask you. But before he does that, I noticed you said that the community tourism as conceived and developed by you and your associates, your group, that it was well received by the community. I noticed you didn't say it was well received by the government. And here's why. And you went on to say that the government can make the plan and they can join you. But here's why I find that to be interesting. I watched you, and I've been watching you for quite some time now, I must be honest. But I watched you on a town hall meeting where the prime minister was the guest. And I think it was maybe it wasn't the prime minister. Maybe it was the ambassador and a gentleman who represents a group that's developing a huge hotel, and the prime minister may have been there, but yeah, the prime minister was there because guess what? He was talking about the government's plan to develop the South Coast, and you were asking him about saving the boutique hotels and a niche. That's the word they use. The niche hotels, the niche market, because you're saying, look, it shouldn't be all about a huge building, gated, sun, sea, and sand. You bust them in, they're flying. You bust them to the location, and then you bust them back to the airport, and they're out. They should be out in the community. Some people could reasonably make the argument that putting them out in the community in a country where over the last 7 years, it's estimated that 16,000 illegal guns have been brought into Jamaica. And I have the stats here to show that of the 16,000 guns, they've only recovered 6,000. And then I saw a video 2 days ago, very frightening when you look at the type and the caliber of the destructive weapons that these young men have in their possession. So speak to us about development of resort tourism, as I would call it, on the South Coast, and the fear factor as well as the real factor involving and the impact of crime. Oh, hold on a second. Is this it? Oh, yeah. That's a Kevin trim or something. Hold on a second. Oh, look at this. No, that is frightening. If it's Jamaica, I hear Patron in the background, I hear Jamaican music in the background. So I'm not gonna say it is Jamaica, but if it is Jamaica,
everywhere in the world.
Yeah, it's frightening though for a little piece of a jewel. And so speak to that, comfort us, give us some hope, some inspiration that look, Jamaica is on its way to a successful industry called tourism. And what you're seeing there is just an outline. It's something that is not common, and it poses no real threat to tourism.
Well, I can speak to that because I have my own concerns about, you hear about these guns that are coming into Jamaica, and you're asking questions. Where are they coming from, and to whom are they being given to? And you can't get those answers, which I find very strange. We have answers because we have community people who have told us certain things. All I can tell you is that The reason why this is happening is because we have not done anything for the young people in the communities, especially young men. And we have found that when we do the training in the communities, that they now more gravitate towards what we're doing with entrepreneurship and being able to move ahead and get support. It is important to understand that we have given the country not an opportunity with the infrastructure. The infrastructure in Jamaica, I don't know if you know how bad it is, but it's quite bad. We only have 15% of our reefs left around Jamaica. Sewage and garbage has gone into the sea and messed up our fish life, and it's messing up our beaches. Like Negril is not the Negril it used to be, for example, and the South Coast has lost some beaches. I'm just giving you a quick thing. So all of that happening, tourism does have some serious challenges. What it has to do with coming together, partnering and collaborating. And I believe that the diaspora can play a better part, because you need to find out exactly what is going on. You need to have the projects that are out there. Some very good projects are out there, but we cannot move forward without funding. That I found out that is the biggest issue, the funding part. And we need to understand that funding is not just for, what you call, I don't like the word resort. We don't put that in there. Ireland, we took a study tour to Ireland when I was the chairman of the Small Hotels Committee for the Caribbean Hotel Association at the time. And we went to Ireland, and we found that Ireland was very successful with boutique hotels, homestays, not Airbnb, homestays, and farm vacations and so on. And so we said we want to have the Caribbean become that way. But I find that we're going another way. And that I don't think is the best future, even though they can collaborate. They can collaborate, and they have to be encouraged to, like Sandals Foundation. But they are concerned about the crime is valid. We're concerned. We also know that it can be resolved if we can get the people that are involved with the training programs that are being offered for them to go forward in entrepreneurship in different ways. We got hard to give a certification for community cookery and also for community host guide. Not tour guide, I talk about host guide, where there can be a guide for their community. And the communities we have on board don't have any crime. We have no crime there. TUI was so impressed. They did a tour with us for contract with us for 3 years. And the tour that we had was Orange Bay in Hanover, near Negril. And the first stop was the hairdressing salon, and each stop gets 5 years per person. And then the next stop was the school, the prep school, and then we went on now to the church, and then the community bar, and then the community restaurant, and then we did some dancing, and got them organized, and then we went into the pastry shop, and people enjoyed it so much because they got to see the lifestyle. So we call it the community lifestyle experiences, and that is a winning name, where you go and learn about the community way of life, not creating an attraction. We don't have to create attractions. We have them already. The people are there. I can take one person and market them and get business from it. So I know the downside, but the only way to get the upside is to understand that the issues can be dealt with if we pay attention to the communities directly and help them to improve their businesses and get funding for them. That's it in a nutshell.
Let me bring in JAMAICA here. He's a young man who spent a considerable amount of time of his young life so far in the tourism sector. JAMAICA, do you have any questions or any concerns or any comments for Diana?
Hey, yes, I do. It is definitely my field. It's a pleasure to speak to you, Miss Diana Pike. I just want to say welcome to.
Thank you.
The people say university, most definitely, because we get to learn a lot, because we have people, esteemed personals like you. And I must say, first of all, thank you for advocating for this. Thank you for standing up for community tourism. It is a major thing, and it's a conversation that needs to be had. I've been listening to you, and as Mr. Rattigan had clearly outlined, safety is a major thing with America, Canada, and England issuing a level 3 advisory, not just for the violence, but also the Medicare. It is a major challenge, it's a sore. And I heard that you made mention about the government not being along, but I believe, in my humble opinion, I believe that they should be supporting. And the Tourist Enhancement Fund should be looking at initiatives like these, providing grants so that people are more aware of the process, because we're in a conundrum where we don't have the education and the expertise widespread. And that is something I believe that needs to change. And I believe that we have to take a pragmatic approach to this, because our culture has been shut out. They are creating in the hotels a utopia, and our culture has been dwindling to nothing. So you coming out and saying things like this is very, very much needed. What my question for you, do you think that you need to engage the government a little bit more? I know that there is a need or even an appeal to the diaspora, but before going to the diaspora, don't you think that the government needs to play a bigger part? Because this will also impact the social development of the country. So that is one of my questions for now. I have a few more, but I would love to hear what you think about government involvement.
Well, the government has been engaged, and Minister Bartlett has been engaged, and they took initiatives from us. My concern is that we have expertise here in community tourism, and they do not hire us to do the implementation. They bring in foreigners, and that's not right. We are the ones who created it, and we deserve better recognition to implement it. And we know how to rock with the people. You can't bring an American to come rock with the community. You have to bring people who are from here to do that. So the problem we have is that they don't collaborate and they don't partner when you engage them. What they do is that they take initiatives and try to implement it themselves, and it cannot work that way. So what we decided to do is not to go into any quarrel or problem. We have a concern because the diaspora is not aware of what is happening in the communities, the projects. And so what we want is to make them aware of it, because the government is not telling them about it either. When you have the diaspora conference in Jamaica, for example, they don't take them to any community or for them to hear what is happening in the communities. So we diaspora to get the direct information, and that's why I mentioned about the fund. Because if you don't have a fund that you can help them with low interest loans and grant funding, then you can't move forward. So to answer your question, yes. Now, other Caribbean islands we've been to, we have had governments cooperating with us, like in Barbados and so on. But for some reason, we're not getting the cooperation that we would like to have here in Jamaica with our approach. I have to say approach, because our approach is much different. We're not going around trying to find attractions. We don't need to find attractions. We have them. People are attractions. The people are interesting. The communities are interesting. The businesses are interesting. And we have identified over 30 niche markets. Graveyard tourism, for example. People who have come, I've had groups that have come to look at graveyards, and they want to know about the history of the people who are buried there. And the church can earn money, and the family can earn money. There's a lot of ways to earn money, but we have to have the right approach. I find that the diaspora is the way to go. I'm telling you, I've come to the conclusion that the diaspora needs to come and visit the communities. They need to see the projects, and then they know, together with us, can talk to the government. That's the way it has to go. It can't be the other way around. Right?
Jamaics, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. All right. Thank you for that. I completely understand. Just another question to that. Have the tourism minister come to the table to negotiate so far before saying go to the diaspora? I believe that the diaspora need to be more sensitized, and that is why you're here, most definitely. Thanks for coming here to raise this concern. This is a concern that many Jamaicans need to be a part of as well, both locally and internationally. I want to know, as the Ministry of Tourism come to the table, listen to your concern, negotiate with you, and say, yes, we can move forward with projects like these because they're imperative, I believe. Another question is, what's the name of the movement, the organization, and how impactful has it been? How long ago has it started? And how can people can join along and have more conversation, more education about what you, Miss Diana, Diana Pike, right, is doing. So,
McIntyre, right, is my name.
all right, Miss McIntyre Pike. Yes. So, I'm asking, how impactful has it been? What's the name of the movement? And also, how can people be more aware? How can people be engaged with what you're doing? Because it's imperative, very, very important what you're doing.
Well, we have the countryside communities and network, and we have partners. The community people are partners. When we do the training, we give them complimentary partner membership, and we also have, with that, the Villages as Businesses program, which we are implementing along with that. And I want you to know, in relation to your concern, a group of us have come together and formed a group called Tourism Action Group, TAG. And we're about to have a meeting with key players in tourism, both large and small, to discuss our concerns. And anybody who is participating in that, in the diaspora, you can always email me and I'll send you the information, villages as businesses at yahoo.com. It's going to have, the meeting is going to take place in February. And we're going to move forward with the concerns, some of what you've expressed here. Because we have taken a decision that we're not going to just sit back and allow things to just get out of hand. We've got to take responsibility and to get input from people and their recommendations the way forward. We're not in any fight. What we're trying to do is to get collaboration. And this year, as you probably know, is the election year in September. So there's going to be a lot more interest maybe in talking to us, I hope. We'll see what happens. But the corruption is a big concern. Corruption, big time.
Corruption is a major concern, and it is something that most definitely you'll be hear about here today, because this is supposed to be bipartisan. This is supposed to impact the people of Jamaica rather than any political party, because this community tourism means development for every and anybody that is living in a space. And you know, it should never be anything that should be guided along party lines. It's more about the impact.
No, it cannot be. It cannot be. Cannot be.
Exactly.
You know,
So,
we have to focus on the infrastructure that we have in the country. You know, the roads, the potholes, and the manholes, and the not having proper lighting from the airport to the hotels, and that's a big issue. You know, I mean, you can't have people coming to our country and just thinking about the rooms and the hotels. We've got to talk about the infrastructure, because it affects the communities, but it affects the visitors too who want to tour the country. I can't do a lot of my tours because the roads are not good, and it is embarrassing. And then the other part that is a big issue is the rubbish. The rubbish is everywhere. It's thrown all over the place. You know, and it's not just, I'm talking about rubbish heaps, I'm talking about the way people just throw rubbish out of the car. So it's a mindset change that has to take place, and that's where the training comes. And I'll be honest with you, the ones I've trained have improved. The ones I've trained to bring it to their attention what impression we have of the country, they have changed.
Okay.
Sorry?
Can you speak to any of the projects that you have worked on so far, and how impactful, what type of success have they yielded for communities?
Yes, we did, when we had my small hotel, we trained 3,000 people in basic hospital skills and community tourism. They were not being accepted by heart because they didn't reach grade 9 certification. So we were left out there hanging loose. So we went and targeted them and we trained them. And I'm very proud to tell you that they all got jobs because of the mindset change. We taught them about self-development, how to communicate, how to dress, how to be proud of their community, proud of their country, proud of of their family, and to understand they have to know about it, so that when you're talking to people, they'll understand it. So much so, Sandals had hired us to do some training for some hard students in the grill. And when we went and trained them, 5 days, we just need 5 days, they couldn't believe the same people. They couldn't believe it. So that is what I'm telling you, the training and development of the people is what is required. And what that requires funding. And we can only move forward if we get funding. I can't continue to do volunteer work all the time. I'm sorry, we need to be paid to do the job. We have a group of us, we have a fantastic group of people who can do the training. So the diaspora has to come and meet with us, and then we will be able to give the rundown of what we need to do to move forward. Okay?
Let me ask you this, Diana. In 2020 or thereabouts, Minister Bartlett made an announcement. He said by 2025 we're going to have a unit in the Ministry of Tourism dealing specifically, totally solely with community tourism. I don't know why I keep saying terrorism. Community tourism. Now, do you see that? And we've yet to hear anything more about that. The announcement was made in 2020, and we haven't heard anything. Now, first of all, have you heard anything about it? And the second question is, do you see that as an opportunity for collaboration, or do you see it as competition for what you're doing?
No, it's not competition. What has happened is that they took our initiatives, which was included setting up a community tourism office. We were trying to get funding to do that. And instead of getting funding, they went and took our initiative. They took our initiative and said they're going to set up a community tourism office. But if you're going to do that, then you need to collaborate. You need to talk to us so that we can move forward together. I don't have a problem if they want to do it, but they should have done it with us, because it was our idea to have it, a community tourism office. So we had a whole plan, of the village business for 36 communities for the whole island. And we were not able to get the funding because that initiative was taken away from us. So I won't get into all the detail, but I can tell you that World Bank was not happy that we didn't get through. But that is something that we, the READY project that we had, READY 1 and READY 2, it was community tourism and agriculture. Well, our proposal was for 36 communities for the whole island. And they called us and told us they could only do 6. So, okay, well, let's just do 6. And then after that, no, we lost it because that program was taken away from us. And I could have made a public announcement, but I did not, because I'm in the International Institute of Peace through Tourism. I'm the Caribbean president. So we spoke to World Bank, and World Bank called me from Washington and thanked me for the way I dealt with it, and said that they would try and work it out where we can get more funding. But again, you can't get more funding if you don't put together a project for each community and for each project that is within the community. So that's our focus, the training and development of the people to come up with projects that has a business approach, change the mindset to be more business-like. So that we're now at a ground level to do that. Okay?
All right. I know you have to go, and time is at a premium, but I need to ask you this question. It's a bit out of left field, but it's pertinent. Beach access. We have watched tourists come and enjoy the best of the best beaches we have in Jamaica, and our people cannot enjoy those beaches. I won't try to pin you down. I'll just ask you an open-ended question. Give us your thoughts on beach access in Jamaica, please.
No, I don't mean the beaches is supposed to belong to us, the public. For example, on the South Coast, we have a beach called Fonthill area, and it was closed down. It was the best beach we had over 20 years ago. And we keep asking the question, all I hear is that some Spanish investors and other people are being shown it. And we have told Minister Bartlett and them that we're not going that route for the South Coast, because the Sustainable Development Plan was for it to be more eco and boutique hotels, etc. So to answer your question, we feel that we need to approach things in a different way, where the beach access should be available to the public. And we need to have more public beaches organized. Fonthill is still waiting. I'm hoping we'll be going the other route. And the other thing that the beach access has to be organized in such a way that the people will understand that if misbehavior takes place, then they will be put out. It's as simple as that. But it can be done. And you know who I admire? Cancun. You know that Cancun, they build across the road. Cancun hotel development is across the road, and the beach is for everybody. That's there. So we have to think about how we're moving forward. We cannot be taking away all the beaches from the people. It's our beach. We need to have it.
All right, look, Diana, before you go, give us some inspiration, because they've hijacked your project. Jamaicans don't have access to beaches. There's a concern about safety. The roads are not properly maintained, so you can't get people to the communities, into the communities, and back to where they came from. Give us something that we can say, yes, there is some hope. There is some light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, I think what is right is that we have a group of us like yourself. We have a group of us, a very strong group that has now come together to form the Tourism Action Group. We are going to take action and make sure that we deal with all the issues they talk about, and at the same time make things better. There's no point just talking about it. You have to take action. So we are going to take action. And that's a hope you have, and we want to have the diaspora on board with us for that. Okay? And we have an Adopt a Village program, and we have a pickup project for education. I had 7 groups with pickup project. I included the project in the vacation and a study tour. And Adopt a Village are people who have money. Instead of buying another car, you adopt a village, but they can't adopt a village if you don't have a business plan for the village. So that's what I'm telling you. The training and development is taking place, but we need more funding to do that, so that the people understand how they can participate in the business of tourism. Being a farmer or whatever it may be, they can be a part of the program.
Now look, thank you so much for your time, and we hope to have you back soon, because I see where you're making a plea to the diaspora to get involved.
Yes.
And I'm sure there are many people in the diaspora who would love to get involved. So we need to have you back on. So again, thank you for your time. You take care and be well.
You're very welcome. And we look forward to the support, because trust me, we're not messing around. We have some good people on board. Okay.
All right.
So you can send us an email at villagesasbusinesses@yahoo.com, and we'll send you the points that we're going to be dealing with. We have a PowerPoint set up and everything already. Okay?
All right. Look, okay, thank you so much. We'll put up your email. We'll have people correspond with you, and then we'll go from there.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you for coming.
Yes, folks. All right. That was Diana McIntyre Pike, affectionately known as Diana or Lady D. And what I'd like to do at this point is, before I bring on my next guest, I need to really say some things about the state of affairs in Jamaica. Let me just tell you that the most powerful voices in Jamaica, in my opinion, today, are women.
Mm-hmm.
We have heard from Jeanette Calder, strong, educated, talented, courageous Black woman.
Okay.
We have heard from Rosalie Hamilton, similarly situated. And there are 2 people, and we can't forget Miss McIntyre Pike, because she now hold back either. And here she said, listen, enough for the talking. We need to take action now. Couldn't agree with her more.
Okay.
But there are 2 women that have never been on this program that I want to talk about briefly. One of them, and these women, by the way, they're all my, people say hero, but it's heroin. And not heroin like the drug, but it's Heroine, right? People say hero, but hero is the masculine form of that. But putting that aside, the two women who have never been on this program, and I admire them greatly, they are a source of inspiration for me. One of them is a lady by the name of Pamela Monroe Ellis, who is the Auditor General. Big ups to that lady. Had it not been for that woman, a lot of things coming out we would have never known about it. And by extension, we have to big up JAMP, because what JAMP did was took the raw information, collated it, and put it in a usable product. So, you never have to go around and search. Everything was just right there for you. So big up to Jeanette Calder. And Dr. Rosalia Hamilton, she was here last week talking about the Constitution. She's coming back. But this lady, I'm bringing her now. Let me tell you a little bit about this lady. I met this lady a few years ago on I think it was a TV program, CVM. And I don't remember the topic we were discussing, but it had to do with, a diaspora a viewpoint and somebody from Jamaica's viewpoint. And it just so happened that she and I, we agreed. This lady, she's an attorney at law. She extremely experienced, and her experience goes back to a mentor in outside the government, and then she also worked at one point. She did a stint with I believe the Attorney General's office. Here is something I didn't know about her, that she's a former head girl at Holy Childhood. Didn't know none of this, I'm gonna talk to this lady. Them I know. So it's like, and she's an outstanding orator. When you hear this lady talk, because the program that I was on with her, when I came off, my brethren them called me, and they said, I tell them to me, say, yeah, did I go there? Them say, who that lady there? I said to them, say, me no know her. I the first me see her. And all of them I watch right now. In fact, one of them I spoke to him yesterday, and him say, every time him hear her name, him say, that lady, brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant woman. Now, she's also very down to earth, despite the things we hear that she speaks well, she know handle herself, and things like that. But when you talk to her, very down to earth person, very down to earth. She can dine with kings and walk with paupers. I mean, this is what Jamaica should be like. I wish we had more people like her and Jeanette and Rosalia and Diana. Wish we had more people like them. And it shouldn't come as a surprise that some of the most powerful voices coming out of Jamaica, they're coming from women. Because if you go back and look at the pass rate and look at the people who are in a school, mostly women. Them take education serious, And so, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to bring on, I consider her my sister, a dear friend, a righteous soul, a fighter for Jamaica. Without further ado, Miss Danielle Archer. Danielle, welcome.
I'm looking around and wondering who you're talking about, but I can't mind him. He was talking about that. I don't see Rosalia on the screen, and Jeanette is not there. So,
Not right.
I cannot. There's another Daniel Archer out there. This is the one you're talking to.
That's do you know who I'm talking to? Any Daniel Archer that's listening to me, I them I talk to.
No, because she could have listened to you too.
No, but me talk, anybody who will listen to me and in front of me, I them I talk to.
Oh, you mean it's me? I thank you for those accolades. I'm grateful for it. I'm surprised you didn't know about the latter, but whilst the latter is important, nothing I say and do is as important as simply being Jamaican and wanting the best for Jamaica. There's no accolade that you can ever say or give that is as important as being Jamaican. And I think I walk in the shadows of Rosalia Hamilton, and I walk side by side my sister Jeanette, because what we really want is for a better Jamaica. So everybody have their skill set, would not want the world to have another one of me. I'd want the world to have a better person. But if we can all use our skill sets and the talents that we have to make Jamaica better, I think that's the precedent that we're trying to set. So thank you for having me on your show. Not because I didn't want to come before, but
that's
I
fine.
pull aside a while ago. Notice the background look a little hazy. It's because I've had to pull aside to try to make sure I made my 5 o'clock appointment because I don't want you to trace me.
I'm not trace.
So I make sure I park the car, pull up, take out the internet, and settle up because I had to be on for 5 o'clock.
Well, I know me alone. I know me not tracing. Now Kevin, you know, see me right to say no.
No, Kevin
DJ
would
Kevin
never
still.
trace me.
Kevin
Would never trace me. It's
no,
all
Kevin
about,
would never tell you same old trace you, but
no,
Kevin
that's
tell me same old
you
trace.
can't talk about what I'm gonna say. You come in like the people that will try to do that them.
Look, Daniel, do me a favor. Please tell our audience, for those who do not know Daniel Archer and they just heard what I had to say about her, please give us. Look, the time is yours. Tell us who is Daniel Archer.
Tell them that you're wrong, and I'm just Daniel Archer, a Jamaican who works with one of our many non-governmental organizations, but the only non-governmental organization in Jamaica that's focused on anti-corruption, and that is with the National Integrity Action. That's what I do, and that's my mission at this moment, to get the message out about how Jamaicans can ensure that there is increased accountability and transparency in governance in Jamaica. That's what I'm about. I'm about making Jamaica a better place, putting in place initiatives and encouraging individuals to, one, participate more in the system of governance around you. And that means that if you choose to vote, you know what you're voting for, and you know why you're voting, and you know what it is that you want. Two, to get persons to understand that governance is more than just voting. It is keeping our parliamentarians accountable. And three, ensuring that there's a mechanism in place that ensures that governance becomes a better system in Jamaica. 3 things, only 3 things.
All right. You mentioned national.
Hold on. Rebel freeze.
I'm back. Are you
know-
thawed out now?
I know it's really cold up there in Maryland, and he's suffering for it.
He's suffering.
That's got to him.
So
You
all
thaw shortly.
yeah, we'll
It's
fix it in a
Pegasus,
moment.
you know.
Yeah,
Maybe it's the same name to the hotel. Maybe it's Pegasus.
You mean
I don't
Pegasus
know.
has finally gotten to him? Them wouldn't freeze him, man.
Oh, really?
well, you know,
They'd have cut
we-
the mic, not so much freeze him.
well, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out in a minute. Since we have you here right now, as I work behind the scenes to bring him back, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about that NGO that you just mentioned.
Right.
Tell us a little bit more about it, please.
All right, so National Integrity Action is a chapter of Transparency International. We work to ensure that we facilitate communications around improving transparency and accountability in governance. And governance not just includes the public sector, but also the private sector. So we want to make sure that we have the best systems in place. We look out and speak out on issues that touch and concern what does not appear to be good governance. And I have recently, I like to use the word recently, but I'm discovering that I'm now old in the chair. So this is my second, I think it's my second year as principal director at National Integrity Action. And through the work that we do, we have just gotten one of what I would say is the best support that we could possibly get to have a pioneering anti-bribery campaign, public education campaign here in Jamaica. The British, as they have done in making contributions to Jamaica, you'd have seen recently that the British has given monies to Jamaica to build up bridges. It's the same British persons, the same government that has made a donation through us asking by way of a proposal to support our anti-bribery campaign. You're freeze too as well, Kevin?
Sorry. What was that? If I'm a what as well?
Asking if you freeze as well.
No. I'm not frozen. I'm working on bringing back Rebel into the broadcast.
All right.
So,
All right. I will
yes.
answer a question whilst you do that. Miss Daniel Archer, it's a great pleasure to get a chance to speak to you. I've been watching you from afar, but I feel so close to you because I believe that what you're doing impacts every Jamaican. And when you speak, you don't speak because you have words, but you speak because you love Jamaica. You respect who you are, and you believe that Jamaica deserve better. And as Mr. Rattigan speak about our women standing up, I want to give you your roses while you're alive, because we tend to give people roses whilst them cannot smell it. So I want you to smell your roses, and I want to say congrats to what you have been doing. My question to you so far, I know that you're going to go down into anti-bribery, but I want to ask this question before you go there. What is corruption? How does it impact people personally, and it also affect infrastructural development in Jamaica?
So true. So true. All right. So let me just clarify something. This is not on my birth certificate. Actually belongs to my father. Calling me Daniel is quite fine.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, Daniel. Go ahead.
All right. So here's where we are. Corruption is a very simple thing, but it's one of those things that, syrup. Yeah. A little bit of syrup in the water can change the entire color. And that is what I'd like people to understand. It's like a little bit of something that you don't like. So we like syrup, but you can also have bad tasting syrup that just contaminate the entire pool. Corruption tends to be like that. You can look at corruption as well as an octopus that has many different tentacles. So it not only changes how things are, but it also have different things that you can describe. So it's still one octopus, but the octopus has multiple tentacles. And that's what corruption is. I want us to get to that place where we understand that when we have mismanagement of funds, when funds are unaccounted for, when people use their positions of authority to get positions of authority or influence or money for friends and family, that is corruption. So there are multiple facets. There is nepotism, there's cronyism, there is conflict of interest. All of those things combined to form what we call corruption, illicit enrichment. So now we have so many different areas that we can start this conversation with, and I'll start with the latter. Illicit enrichment arises because oftentimes persons get the salaries, but they're doing other things that are not illegal and or not that they don't have the authority to do. They are making decisions that will allow them to capitalize on an opportunity so that they can have an advantage. And so one of the things that we want to have is to have that conversation about illicit enrichment. That becomes important because the Caribbean at this time is seen as one of the largest regions that has the greatest inflows of dirty money. What's dirty money? Money is for drugs, guns, prostitution. And because of the systems that we have in place, we get these things coming in and they operate to give persons an unfair advantage. You will have an increase in crime. You're going to have much more violence. If you think things scamming bad now, just imagine the opportunities that can come for persons to make their money in a manner that is illicit, illegal. To challenge that, the National Integrity Action has asked for what we call unexplained wealth orders. Meaning, if you don't have a legal explanation for how you get your money, you're going to be in legal troubles. So if you see a man on the side of the road and he not go to work at daytime and he have a nice jelly park up in his driveway, you should be able to ask him, where did you get the monies from to buy that jelly? And utilizing that will allow the society to become a little bit more to conform to our expectations of doing things the right way. We spoke about conflict of interest. That is a problem as well, because if you're making a law or you're making a decision or you're creating a policy, you really shouldn't have the benefit of that policy. You see me? You understand what I'm saying? And that is something that affects how we do business, that our friends and our family can benefit from a decision that is being made that does not necessarily mean that you're immune from it. You're making sure that you do a decision for the benefit of your friends and family, but not necessarily for the wider Jamaica. We also talk about nepotism. We've heard before from Madam DPP that nepotism and cronyism, they're not a crime. But you and I see it and know that it is wrong. We know that it is wrong to give our friends an advantage. We know it's wrong that we make a decision and our children can do it. So when we have a justice minister who can say the parliamentarians, spouse and children should not declare statutory declarations, it becomes a concern. And it becomes a concern. And many people say, but why? Why you have to know the people in business? Because if I did want the parliamentarian to do something for me, I can give him a little thing and say, don't worry yourself, mama, just give it to your son. Because they're not going to know. So the son, and when you come out of parliament, when you come out of politics, you can just take it back from the son. We would never know that there's something illicit happening. And we want to ensure that the offices of the parliamentarians, as far as it is humanly possible, remains objective from the influence of big money. Big money can make it equal or create an inequity in the system, which we're currently having, where there are some who will always have and those who don't have will never have. So when you talk about infrastructure, all of these things contribute to infrastructure. Because before you can have the infrastructure, what you have to have? The decision. But who influences the decision? And if the decision is being influenced in a negative manner, it doesn't necessarily mean that the decision is being made to the best of us. So when we decide, you just had my parishion, Diane, on, when we decide to create hotels in some areas, are we doing it for the advantage of that community? Or are we doing it because we have a businessman there who gave us some money for the campaign?
Mhm.
Is the decision being made in the best way for us? Or did we promise to give somebody something if they got something for us? So we're allowing them to take control of the business. It's a concern that we're having, not just in Jamaica, but you can look at our neighbors abroad. Has the government been bought by the technocrats, by the persons who can control AI? Is it a question now that we're not going to be forced, that there's going to be special interest for them alone? What about others? And so being able to ensure that you have a government that is, as far as possible, not conflicted, or augurs, it works best for individuals. Because guess what? Last couple of weeks, we've been having this conversation about money being unaccounted for by the Auditor General. And I agree with Rebel. Miss Monroe Ellis is a star to me. She's not just a heroine. She is one of those persons that epitomizes, exemplifies doing your work as a public servant fearlessly, doing your work as best as you can in a manner that is not just fearless, but fair. So I don't see where you can properly say that she's ignorant or incompetent. And there has never been a twinge of malice. There's no evidence of that.
Can I steal one more question? Because I know Uncle Rattigan have some very technical question, but I want to ensure that I echo the sentiment of the young people on the street, or even just older folks on the street that want to be able to understand. So this question, where we see, you spoke about illicit enrichment, and we're seeing in the public space that the Prime Minister is being held accountable for that by the Integrity Commission, where so I'm asking you, for somebody as a professional as you are, and you are in-depthly looking at these things, how does it look and feel to know that the Prime Minister that governs not just me and you, but the entire Jamaica, been caught up in something like this? What is your thought?
There are many different ways to look at that. For somebody like me, I would be shocked. Because one of the challenges that I'm having is, this is a legislation that was passed by this parliament. This is a legislation that was encouraged. When you look at the Hansard and you see the comments that were made by the current Justice Minister, what you see the comments that were made by the Prime Minister, you understood that they understand that the purpose of what this is. So to have the leader now challenge the integrity of the very commission that they established. These are individuals that they have put in place. These are individuals that they have chosen. And this is a law that they too have made. So it makes me wonder if where we are is a system where the law applies only to some and not to all. And we expected that is other people would get caught and not us. That's a concern for me. And I think most importantly, I don't think it's a good example. It's not a good example. There is one thing to say that you are allowing the law to take its course, but it's another thing that the law is wrong because it's applied to me. If it was applied to somebody else, it would be okay. And that's one of the inferences I'm getting from this saga. I'm also concerned because these are questions which I think are to be fairly posed to any member of parliament. I'm concerned because I get the impression that people seem to feel that we're picking on parliamentarians and we're picking on politicians as if they are a special class that is excused from or immune from any form of criticism. And I'm concerned because it sets the wrong example and it gives the wrong message, not just to my young Jamaicans, but it gives the wrong message to our international community. And it challenges the corruption framework. And then it creates now, for me, a greater challenge, because what it tells me is that we are giving lip service to the fight against corruption, but we are unwilling to be warriors within the fight for corruption. And what we need are warriors for corruption. We need fighters for corruption. We need people to set an example when it comes to corruption. We need persons to break it down and make sure that we have the legislation that makes it impossible for us to encourage corruption in any space of our lives. So you're asking me earlier about the infrastructure costs, and this is how I'll connect the two. When we don't have leaders who are warriors for corruption, it makes it appear that when there are questions of corruption surrounding anyone within the public sector, that they will leave without any reprimand, that it's not going to be dealt with seriously. So that when monies are unaccounted for, there will not be any pressure to account for them, particularly if it is that you're on the right side of the political divide. How does this cost us? Let's look at the monies from the municipalities. Big and seriously still, if one school in the community to get $1 billion we're missing, we just want you choose one school in your community. Just one school. I don't reach a clinic them yet. Just choose one school in your community where you live. Whether a Greenville, Primary, Mandeville, All Age, just choose one school in your community and imagine just for a moment what a school they could have done if they did have $1 billion. Think about it. That the school they could have one computer lab. They could have one science lab. They could have a state-of-the-art library. Oh, and if I'm wrong on all of that, the teacher them could have get better money. Infrastructure that is improperly fixed or repaired or implemented costs us as the Jamaicans, because when you have Jamaicans who can't fly out for education, can't fly out for healthcare, can't get a good job because them not have the right address or have the right contacts, it go rough and sticky pan way. We enter into a zone where scamming is encouraged because you don't need no qualifications to scam. You just can't use a phone. Because them qualifications thing expensive. And the lifestyle, me not go get that the lifestyle if me I work at one fast food restaurant I serve. Better yet, if me I do call
or
center.
a hotel or a call center.
Or if me work at call center or hotel, me can't own jail leave. So it not make it. Come if I go get up a morning and have people talk to me in a particular way, and I raise that because even though we have this conversation about corruption, we also have to have a conversation about how we view certain things in life, how we view honest work. As a society, we look down on our plumbers and our carpenters, and everybody wants a lawyer. But carpenters and plumbers are just as integral to our society as a lawyer or a doctor. In fact, carpenters or plumbers get to migrate much quicker than lawyers and doctors because everywhere a bill. And if we teach our people money management and how it is to earn money and budget, then you find that there'll be a greater aptitude now for earning and working because we're now creating that culture. So infrastructure development can allow for us to have the proper resources to train our young people to understand certain values. So we can take it time because we are giving them the resources. So when you don't account for funds, you choose to deny a particular area of funds that they need. So we can look at the monies that were allotted for the social welfare programs that have gone missing. How many more persons could have gotten better homes or given better educations? Or we could pay our teachers just as much as we're paying our parliamentarians. I'm just saying. Infrastructure, when we talk about our roads, look here. You and I both know that a little drop of rain does not damage a road. Little toops of rain can't create the jacuzzi then when we are dry on. The jacuzzis are created because rather than putting 1/4 of the asphalt, we are putting a teaspoon. But we're not, we're so into ourselves that they don't appreciate that corruption arises because we're not supervising. And a man a collect for supervise, but in depth on our next job. Kind of hustle. And we say it all right.
Yeah.
Kind man a hustle. Yeah, so the system work. So what I want to do, I want people to understand that we can't just blame the politicians for corruption. We also have to be responsible for how we look at corruption. Corruption is not a disease that is exclusive to some people, and some people just now go get it. Corruption is a virus that we all can get, like COVID.
So true.
So infrastructure is connected to policy. Policy is connected to how we perceive and our behavior. And so when you ask me about the Prime Minister challenging the legislation and saying things that have been said to make you question whether or not the investigation is being done in a fair manner, I think people have a right to question and walk on. So I don't know. For you, I'm a little bit in a corruption space. I can tell you that we're laughed at. Because there are persons who say, "Are you serious?" People are asking you, "What is illicit enrichment?" Illicit enrichment is not a crime, and just by the words "illicit," that should tell you something. People find it odd that persons who should know are saying, "Oh, we didn't know that we're investigated." When people ask us to explain our income, you know, it makes me feel like I'm spitting in the wind, because here I am saying, yeah, we understand, and we have a great we have persons who are willing to build up a corruption framework, but at the same time, the attacks on the IC makes you wonder if there's an understanding of how important it is. That you say something and your words not meeting what is being said, it gives the wrong impression.
It does. Thank you ever so much for that. I know Mr. Rattigan have a lot of questions, and I also know that
Rattigan's out now.
So I'll yield the floor to the panel. Thank you very much.
I sent him some South Florida warmth.
Okay.
So
could have done better, you know. I could have sent him some sunshine from this side of the area, but Florida was closer. So
I'm closer. Rebel.
You see, him still freezing up because the mic freeze, so you can't hear nothing.
No, I unmute him and him go back and mute himself. Tell me why.
His hands are frozen. It's still really cold.
Yeah, man, take your hands off it. All right. Go on now. Wait, you're still muted.
He's still muted. I'm telling you, he's still frozen.
It's a flying horse. It's a flying
Okay.
horse.
All right, this is where you know have serious concerns as to whether Pegasus has taken a ride.
No, he muted the mixing board also.
Oh yes, sir.
Yeah,
When
he
you
muted the
coded
mixing
this stuff.
computer.
Yeah, when you're cold and frozen,
We're not hearing you.
warm. Warm up yourself. Some chocolate tea can be sent.
We're not hearing you, Rebel. We're not hearing you.
Some good old coffee. Coffee.
No, I need to do more.
Coffee tea in night. Too late.
Hold on, Daniel. You know, I hear you talk with such passion, Daniel, and I wonder a couple of things. What took you in this direction, and how many friends you have?
That question.
Rebel is a friend. Rebel is a friend.
That means you don't.
So why him get up at that time when you said that?
Yes, then disappear from the site. All right. I think we are the sum total of our experiences. And it's a good question. I've never thought of what led me here. I am a nationalist. I've told persons that I will choose to serve in an area of need. So I'm a nationalist. My background is in politics. So I do have a first degree in political science and international relations. And I grew up in an area where it was encouraging to be Jamaican. You know, I had a little red book, Civics for Young Jamaicans. And you just, for me, that song, I'm not going to sing it for you because I cannot sing to save my life. But there is a song that speaks about Jamaica, the land we love, and the green isle of the windy Indies. And every time I sang that song and every time I hear my anthem, I just feel this kind of love for the country that I'm a part of. And you get a sense of where you're planted, you are to grow. So I think my passion has grown over time in this particular area because you see the inequities. You see the inequities caused by the mismanagement of funds in a healthcare system that everybody's talking about how good the regional hospital is in Mandeville. But when you go there, you see how people suffering. You schools, and you recognize that the schools they don't have what they should have. But most importantly, you know that there are people who want to speak. And they want to speak out about the things that are happening. And they are afraid to speak out. Or they don't feel that they have the right words to speak out. And my gift is a gift of God. So if there's anything that I can do, I lend my voice to those who need it. I lend my voice to issues that need to be spoken about or for. And I tell myself that that is my talent. That is what I'm supposed to do. To speak up for those who can't speak. To speak on issues that are not sexy. To highlight where I think things can be better. And you ask a question about friends. I think you criticize your friends more. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you will remember that scene in Harry Potter where Dumbledore said, and he gave the award to Neville, and he says, one of the hardest things to do is to stand up to your friends.
True.
Yes.
True.
So criticizing is not, and I think people see you or hear you, and just understand that you strive to do things the right way. And we've had experiences. I've had experiences in my almost 20 years as being a lawyer where I have seen what it means to have the impact of corruption. So my experiences as an attorney have led me to become so passionate about anti-corruption activities.
One, you know, you just said something.
Oh, welcome back. You're defrosted.
Yes, you just said something that got me perked up. You said anti-corruption. You said anti-corruption activities. No, here's the thing: you can't have a population, and you know that is willing to address these issues if they don't know what they're supposed to address. True. What do I mean by that? When you have the junior minister in the Ministry of National Security, the Honorable Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, saying that companies, one company, she mentioned the company was being investigated for anti-corruption. Then you see where we're going. She's the number 2 person in charge of national security, and she doesn't know the difference between corruption and anti-corruption efforts. So right there, we have a problem. Now, you mentioned something again, and I want to put it up on the stage here. This. You mentioned the Hansard, right? Now, here's what happened with Hansard. I went and I looked at Hansard for the, what's it called? The Corruption Prevention Act of 2000.
Yeah.
And then it was very revealing because the Prime Minister is trying to get rid of it. And he was I think he got in Parliament 1997, 1998. He was there when they discussed it and no issues. And as a matter of fact, we have Mr. Delroy Chuck, Minister Delroy Chuck, who at that time said that he fully supported it. No, him no support that at all. But then I got this yesterday as a result of an ATI. This is the Hansard proceedings for the Integrity Commission Act of 2017. And I just want to do something. And Daniel, I have to be frank with you. I have some serious reservations about this act. I mean, I've seen some loopholes in this thing, like you can drive a truck through it.
One of the things you must remember, Rebel, is that, and I agree with you, that it's not the perfect act. But one of the things you must remember is that the act came about because it took a lot of negotiations between both parties. So what you're seeing and what has been is not that which one would have said you'd want it to be the perfect legislation, because both parties had to agree and they both had challenges agreeing. So that which was passed because some things were taken out and some things were allowed to be left. Some things were tweaked to ensure that it received bipartisan approval.
All right. Now here's the thing. Agreed. They said that in the meeting. They said, look, we're not going to let the perfect be the enemy of the good. It's good to have this legislation. If we struggle to get it perfect, we won't get there. So let's put it out. And then they said, within 2 years, we're gonna deal with all of the issues that we have. This was 2017. They said that. And here it is, we're in 2025.
Right.
Now I want to show you something. I had to highlight it. I didn't highlight it in green. Kevin always tell me whenever it's something that the government say, and Kevin there? Oh. Yeah, Kevin said to me, whenever it's something that the government say, put it in green. That's what he said to me, because so I did that. But this one, Daniel, this was so frightening that I said, no, I can't put this in a green. I'm going to put this in a red. I want to show you something. Look at, there's a gentleman in Parliament at the time named Mr. Fagan. I don't know him. But he recognized what the point
Colin
that you...
Fagan.
Huh?
Colin
He
Fagan.
He recognized the point that you brought out, saying that you can avoid the reporting requirements by providing, if they didn't put the piece in about your wife and your children having to report their assets. If they didn't put that, then you could actually skirt the rules by giving things to them, right? He pointed out something here that and when I went through the thing, and I've mentioned it several times over and over again as a loophole that should be closed, and it has not. But he mentioned it, and if you look at the rest of the report, nobody addressed it. Here's what he said. He said he's talking about subsection 38, subsection 4, and it says they were talking about parliamentarians who receive a gift in more than 50,000, then you have to report it. Later on, they changed that and they said no, it's 100,000. So right now, as it stands, you can give a parliamentarian a gift of up to 100,000 Jamaican dollars, and there's no reporting. So if the parliamentarian have 10 people around him just get and he can skirt the rules. But look at what this man says. This piece here, which is even more telling. He said, right there, it said, but let me big it up here. And we're going to use this later because we'll deal with the Prime Minister on something. But I'm saying it does not include such gift as may be prescribed or any personal gift that is received by a parliamentarian or public official from a relative of the parliamentarian or public official. That's what the law says. And it says How do you explain that? Because I was just thinking that all that could happen now is that somebody just give the relative some, and then the conversation veered off into the amount of money. But what happened here in the Integrity Commission Act, there's a provision that says that if your relatives, if them give you a gift, you don't have to declare that, regardless of the amount. It says you don't have to declare that, and it's still there to this day. It's still there, and I can't figure out why is it that here it is. This man alluded to it.
Pause. Stop, Rebel. What did you just say a while ago?
He alluded to it.
No, you say you can't figure out why.
I can't figure out why. No, I figure out why. I know why. I know why. But what happened is that people, that's what I'm saying. That's why what we do around here, we try to educate people so that they can carry the message as well. So that it's not just we alone in our circle. We see it and we understand it and we appreciate it for what it is and criticize it. We say we want to push it out so other people see, because a lot of people in Jamaica. All right, I'll go out on a limb and I'll say this: that 90% of Jamaica, they've never read the Integrity Commission Act from page 1 to the end of it. They've never read it, much like the Constitution. So that's why I find that it's incumbent upon us to do this kind of thing and explain to people what's actually going on, because they're not going to do it for themselves.
True.
A lot of them can't do it, and a lot of them don't want to do it.
True.
And a lot of them do it, but they don't understand. So then we have to do it. But here's a question I want to ask you. Let me move this. The question I want to ask you is that in 2020, there was something called the Crime Monitoring Oversight Committee,
Right.
CMOC. They came up with this initiative to transform the JCF and do a whole bunch of things with the judiciary and the penal system. And one of the things that they talked about was this anti-bribery, or you mentioned it earlier, unexplained wealth orders.
Right.
They were supposed to pass that law. They said, we're going to work diligently. We're going to work collaboratively to pass this law. And we had the new president of this CMOC on, the gentleman who's affiliated, I can't remember his name. He's affiliated with a guardsman, former military, Mr. Overton, George Overton, right? And we asked him about that, saying, wait a minute, and he and Mr. Distant, the previous president, they agreed that, yes, we're disappointed that the government hasn't seen it fit to push this piece of legislation through.
Right.
What's your take on it from the NIA's perspective?
Well, we have always asked for it, but to go back to what you just said about the loophole, you need bipartisan agreement. Now, if it is that we are already struggling to accept what illicit enrichment is, and if it is that we are already struggling to accept that we should not be giving any monies at all to any relative, it should be 0, not 100, no gifts at all. If we're already struggling with the capacity of understanding why you have to have statutory declarations, do you understand why nobody is going to support an unexplained wealth order? Because an unexplained wealth order means that your friends, your business associates, your colleagues may be served with one, and it may have implications for you. And as I have said in December, when I was asked about it by the Gleaner, nobody wants to bail that cat. Everybody's looking at their political future. And let me say this without fear of condemnation. Our political system is not created to have what we call one-term parliamentarians. Our political system, as we have crafted it in practice, creates lifelong politicians. Nobody goes into parliament now thinking that I'm going to do my part and hand off my baton. Everybody goes in because they understand that me can hold on panda seat here and I will do whatever I can to hold it. I'm not going to ruffle the boat because the leader said him not going to support this. So me's not going to talk on it because I want to either A, get a seat in cabinet, B, get some position within a particular ministry or entity, or C, I want to make sure I win my seat again. So I'm not going to rock the boat. So if we all have a motive that is peculiar to ourselves, wherein the focus is not on the people themselves, there is not going to be one person who is willing to make that sacrifice as a leader, who is going to say, this is what's going to happen, come what may, with my political career.
Yeah, you know what, Daniel, Fruit the Pond in the chat says, all right, how do we change that?
Public education, greater public participation and agitation. And I'm happy he asked that question. And that's one of the reasons NIA is having this public awareness campaign on anti-bribery legislation. Now, NIA can't pass legislation, you know. It's government can pass legislation. But if we give the people the information and we show people how an anti-bribery legislation will create a stronger anti-corruption framework, we do two things. We give you the information and we're agitating you to get to be part of the solution. How do you become a part of the solution? After you know, you utilize the tools that JAMP has provided to you. A majority of Jamaicans just want to know how they can be part of it. Some are great at protesting. But if you're going to video the protest and a man going to tell us that we're going to charge you, some people going afraid. There are some people who are petrified of being caught underneath their beds. There are others who are going to tell you, I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to have no more forget. But there are some who are willing to write letters. There are some who can use the JAM tools and send off a letter to the minister or to the member of parliament. There are those who can sign petitions. And there are those who can give honest and true information to their neighbors and friends. You see, when people start knowing and understanding that they can be part of the change, they can pressure the MP to pass the legislation. And let me be clear, people are of the view that members of parliament don't have the time or the interest, and attending parliament is really not important because you can't really make a change. You do have a voice. And if you really serve the people, you won't be concerned about what the leader thinks of you. You are more concerned of what it is to do, what you need to do to represent your constituency. Right now, there are not many members of parliament who meet their constituency. There are not many members of parliament who take back the message from their parliament, from their constituents, and this is a law that they want. If you look at our history of passing laws, we've specialized in amending old legislation. Right now, we're using a Limitations Act that is 18 something. Limitations mean that it is what sets when you can file a claim. Our 1800 law we are use. We don't use nothing modern. Because our parliamentarians don't have time to pass laws. Because they don't have time to go to parliament. And they're busy doing other things. This rolls into the conversation of Rosalie Hamilton saying the system not working for us. It means that we need to start asking and being part of the change. We not only go to the talk shops, because they're really just talk shops, but we do more. We organize our community. We have neighborhood watches. We agitate. We're in an election season. You want to tell me, so when the money knock on your door, you not ask them, so what you mean about this? You support the anti-bribery legislation? What about with unexplained wealth order? How we hold you to account? So, brother, me just go vote for you, so I mean, I'll go see you till next year. I'll make sure say you're going to come back. I'm going to give you one talk, you know. But you can't say to me, the year what me I go tell you, say. Me will vote for you if me hear about the recall. What you going to do about that? But as a people, we make things slide. We can get parliamentarians who promise us an impeachment bill, who promise us unexplained wealth orders, who promise us that within X number of days, certain things will be done. And when the days pass, we fail to hold them accountable. So what can be done is for us as citizens, not just to talk, but when people go out to demonstrate, that you join them. That when people write a letter, you write back another letter and say, me agree with that the letter there. If you're on Twitter and you like social media, when they tear up the people them who are asked the honest questions and who are out there representing what you are thinking that you're fearful of talking about, or you may feel that you don't have the fancy words, you go up on Twitter too and tell them to believe that. Can me agree? I'm just saying that there are many ways that you can skin a cat.
But
and
then
you can't just leave it up to just some people. You have to decide. It's either no or never. Eminem say, one moment, one shot is just the last opportunity. You gotta make it. This is our moment. This is our last stance. So if as a people you don't see it important to get out and vote, to go and ask what it is I'm voting for, or better yet, to start some kind of community meeting in the bar shop, on the community side, on the wall, and start bringing some people and say, Daniel, come hold a reasoning with me now. Me want to understand how this go. I'm available.
Daniel, you talk about various ways of patriots getting involved, holding parliamentarians accountable, and you spoke about the lobbying efforts. You spoke about as a constituency, not just as an individual, but as a group of people. And I just want to show you, they said every journey starts with the first step, and every great idea started in the mind of a person. And I've been telling our people week in, week out that we need to do these things. We need to do the letter writing campaign. We need to support, as you just said, rightly so, support protests, support the letter writing campaign, talking as a community, not as an individual, but as a community to your parliamentarian, because there's strength in numbers. And if we don't see it and do it as a united force, it's going to be difficult. Let me just show you something that I got yesterday. All right. And this is a story that we're going to do. We're planning to do it today, but I don't know if we'll get to it. Here it is. Sure you never said this.
I saw something about it on your show earlier when I was logging on. I see. Very interesting.
All right. Now, let me just tell people what this is. Remember, I've been telling you that our esteemed DPP, and not forget about the labels right now, whether she's acting or she is, or, Ms. PAULA LLEWELLYN. If you recall, we complained to the General Legal Counsel, and we were encouraging people to file. Only one person saw it fit to file alongside with me. Only one person. Big up yourself, Roland, from the UK, and Debbie. That couple, they're the only, they filed the second one. Only two people. Who we have problems, with the DPP and what she said and what she did. Right? Everybody have problems with it, but nobody say, all right, now I'm going to step out and deal with it. Anyway, Rattigan did it. And I got this letter last night, and it came from the GLC. And see what they said, dear Mr. Rattigan, please see the attached letter with affidavit of Miss PAULA LLEWELLYN and Jeremy Taylor. The matter is scheduled to go to a meeting of the disciplinary committee on 25th of January, which is today. They sent this to me last night.
All right.
You will hear from us in due course. Now, if this is the disciplinary meeting, there's a huge problem here, because I did my research and I found out that they can't have it unless the complainant is there and evidence is submitted and submissions are made later.
Paul, did you get a Zoom link with that? Because usually if you're overseas,
yes, them not give me no Zoom link. So
you
them
didn't
give
get
me
a Zoom link?
Zoom link. So them give me a hold on there. Oh, wait, Kevin. Help. So them see me, huh?
Yeah, but sometimes so let me disclose, part of my job is to do work at the General Legal Counsel on behalf of litigants who take matters there, who have matters there. And from my experience, they usually, if you're outside the jurisdiction, they usually send you a Zoom link for you to be able to log in for the appearance and for the hearing. So
right.
You didn't get one?
Get
So
what?
let me ask, is this response?
No, man.
This is the hearing that is going to be happening today. And if so, which due course is that I'm going to hear from?
Yeah.
Which course?
No, man. Hold on. So usually you'd have gotten the Zoom link, and usually you would have appeared by Zoom before the panel, and they would then, when you got this now, you'd have perhaps said to them, as the lawyer you are, I just got this, so I need to review it to respond. If it's not a mentioned date, it would be a date for the trial, and that is what you would hear from. But I'm a little bit, I'm not sure, because normally you don't have a Zoom link.
Well, there's no Zoom link, and they send it to me. Look on the time, them send it. Them send it to me 4:28 yesterday. You know what time you get home? I left my house from, I had a meeting with a client.
Well, office communications, technically, that's after office hours. So you wouldn't be expected to have seen that, would you?
Right. No, and I got home 10 o'clock last night. I left my house from 12:30 p.m. and I got home at 10 p.m. And this is what I came across. And I said, wait a minute, they're telling me that the matter is tomorrow.
Oh no. So you didn't even get adequate notice?
No. So I wrote them back already this morning and I said, listen, you need to tell me more about this procedure. Right? You need to tell me more about this procedure. And the thing about it is that this gentleman here, because me not done with them, you know. This gentleman here, Mr. Jeremy Taylor, I don't know what be sting him, because my thing was with the DPP, and all of a sudden him come up now and him put up affidavit, and him tell the people him don't know me and how me get involved in this and blah blah blah, and him mention this case that I referred, Gleaner versus Michael Manley, which stands for the proposition that if there is taint, then you dismiss the whole jury and come up with a new jury. Pick a jury from the jury pool. And him talk about that. But Kevin, hold on there. I wish part of the thing there. What the thing there? Let me show the people. Right, this Kevin. I need that.
Which one of the thing them?
Sita. Hold on there. Sita no, right? Me don't know where him come from. All right. This is what I put in the thing. I said, where there? All right. In a surprising twist, the DPP revealed that this was not her, quote, first time dealing with jury tampering, end of quote. In fact, she stated that it happened on several occasions and, quote, we were prepared to take our chances, end of quote. This is very concerning, and we're left to ponder whether the true administration of justice was subverted by the DPP's decision. Then, so that's another thing where I'm saying, look, the way she handled the trial violated several canons or several aspects of the canon. And then with this thing here, what she said, we deal with jury tampering all the time. Which one did they, Kevin? Where the thing there? The one with what name? The interview with Cliff Hughes. I want the people to sit and then I'm going to show them something. Away there.
One second. Yeah, I just got disconnected from you.
All right. While Kevin will look for that. All right. While Kevin looking for that, let me just put up this thing here with this gentleman here, Mr. Come you go deal with him, you know.
Taylor.
Mr. Taylor, you go deal with him. Him jump in now, you know, and him start defend her. I don't know what him, you know what I'm saying, trade bag enough, you know, open it. I don't know why I'm going to open this thing I know, because now my attention now gone straight to him. And what I got now is that me going to deal with him through the Services Commission, because him now a defender, me no mention him, so I try to divert my attention, but me no easily divert it. Me going to deal with the two of them. Because where him do, I want to play the thing. I just want to play it so that people can hear how me leave this man alone, and this man now come now and start running up him mouth, but him don't know Rattigan, and him almost like him I say me not have no standing, like him I say Rattigan was not part of the case, and where Rattigan him man up himself and I come ask questions and blah 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 and file all. We are gonna show him something. You find it there, Kevin?
Right there.
Which part is there? Oh yeah, so
Right
all right. People want to listen to this. I'm going to show you something. Want to listen to this.
LLEWELLYN's shocking comments on Vibes Cartel Privy Council appeal.
Heat from the Vibes Cartel Privy Council ruling continue. And this morning, for the first time, the DPP was responding since the judgment came down last Thursday morning. And she was asked by Tona and Ricardo about the advice she gave to the judge in the trial after it was revealed that there was an attempt to bribe the jurors.
DPP, having been told that all of your jurors in 2014 had been offered a $500,000 bribe, why did you not advise the judge that it was probably best to dismiss the jury, which was now obviously tainted?
You see, you are now trying to get me to discuss the matter, and I told you that I didn't wish to.
No, but certainly this point, DPP, is important because here the law lords are saying you advised the judge that you were prepared to proceed even though you knew that the entire panel, 11 jurors the forewoman told you, had been offered bribes. Wouldn't that mean in your judgment, DPP, that the entire jury, as the law lords have now found, was contaminated and should have been terminated or discharged?
Well, first of all, I am not the judge.
True, but you gave advice that you were prepared to proceed, and what I'm trying to understand.
We were prepared to proceed.
But why were you prepared to proceed with a jury that was contaminated?
No. All the other factors, that some of which I cannot go into in terms of.
So you were thinking about cost. You were thinking about how long the matter had been going.
We were also thinking of security issues. There were a lot of other issues that we cannot go into the public domain. And what our information from the foreman was, what she was saying, was that all of the attempts had to do with acquittal. Clearly, if it had been the other way, we would have, clearly, given the overriding objective of any case, which is fairness to the accused. But what would have been perhaps planted in the mind of the jurors is, okay, you need to acquit. And remember that these persons, at least two of them, are very famous. So it would have been, as far as the prosecution, when we discussed it, we would have been at those ones at a great disadvantage. This is not the first time.
But with the greatest respect, DPP, that's not persuasive, because what I want you to focus on is the fact that the process now had been corrupted and contaminated, and you advised the judge that you were comfortable proceeding with a contaminated and corrupt process.
This is not the first time that I have had to deal with jury tampering.
And be that as it may, in the exercise of your judgment, why did you not see it fit to bring to an end a matter that had been corrupted?
After 64 days of trial?
Isn't the interest of protecting the impartial trial greater than the length of time that had elapsed?
I agree with you on paper, but I have done other cases where there has been jury tampering to the great negative of the prosecution. I have seen cases, I've seen jury inquiries where the juror, having been questioned, it was quite clear that it was either an accused person or an accused person's relative that approached the juror. And the juror was able to indicate to the court that it did not make any difference. He would still be able to have an impartial situation in his mind. I have had the experience. I've prosecuted many cases. And when asked, I have indicated that we don't have any problems. So in other words, we are prepared to take our chances and just try to make sure that you have a very powerful address. But this, what happened in a couple of the cases I've dealt with, didn't happen during summation. It happened before we got to summation. So I have had the experience before of jury tampering. And I have been asked before, what is my view, being the prosecutor in the matter? And even after the inquiry, it's a judgment. It's quite clear that you don't know if the juror is telling you everything about the encounter with the relative of the accused. but you are willing to take the chance nonetheless. So it has happened. I mean, both myself and Mr. Taylor, who was the prosecutor, we didn't drop from the sky. It's not the first case that we are both having to deal with. And in our experience, we have had to deal with cases where you have issues arising.
Let me stop it there, so. You hear she say, me and Mr. Taylor deal with them cases. Yeah. So, when we want Mr. Taylor, I don't know why you go pick up people bag of trouble, you know. Because she name you. She name you. And so just prepare yourself, you know. Just prepare yourself for the complaints and we're gonna come. Cause me nah stop. Me nah stop until we get justice for the Jamaican people. And this is not justice. If you do it because of the prosecution or the defense, it don't make a difference. It's not supposed to happen. It's not supposed to happen. And we don't know. And this is just what you are tell us. So we don't even know. And if you go back and if you them fears, you know, they might tell me say this matter, the reason why them proceed with it was because it's a matter of public interest. Then them tell me say me you shouldn't have no interest. Like me are not part of the public too. Me are not Jamaican. This it a circle right back to the no standing foolishness. But we just want them know, and I just bring this up as an aside, Daniel, because this is going to be problematic. First of all, procedurally, it's a problem because you send me something after business hours and tell me say it happen the next day. You know, give me, you know, you have robbed me of the opportunity to present my case. And I think that maybe if what I think it is, if them really have a meeting today to discuss this issue, this complaint that I filed against the DPP and they have a hearing, if that is the case, it's a cook-up thing. It's a cook-up thing. And I'm sitting back now and I'm expecting, I'm highly anticipating that they're going to say, we don't find anything wrong with her behavior. Nothing that she did was wrong. And we're going to get a chance to say something. So,
or they could allow you to have something to say. I think you should just. I'm a little bit surprised that you wouldn't have gotten a Zoom link, to be fair. So that to me is a question because normally I'm aware that they would have sent a Zoom link. So that needs to be clarified. That needs to be clarified. I highly doubt, given who you are and the fact that you are so vocal, that they would take that step of not having it heard. I think they would, at the very least, give you an opportunity to be heard. I think that would be wise.
No way it could be the hearing. Just so whatever happening today, happening all day today. There's no time given for the start of this thing, so it can be.
Well, I think it is also possible. So, guys, I'm just putting on my legal head and the hat. It's also possible that they would recognize that he was not properly notified, because I would expect them to accept that he would not have been properly notified and to give you a further date to say it's adjourned. But I understand your concern that it would be laid before them today and you would not have had an opportunity to be present. And that should be concerning to any litigant. That is fair, and that is a concern. It's fair to say, why would you have been getting this message so late and not earlier? And if it is given to you late, why would you not have been given the proper means to attend or an opportunity to attend? And if you had attended, and if the matter is even adjourned, you would question what was said and why it is that you weren't present to hear what was said. And I perfectly understand that.
Well, I'll move on. We'll leave that right there. But I just want the people to know, so we're up on the thing, you know, because at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, we are sending off our ATIs, you know, because at them time that we do most of our thinking, we don't have no distraction. And we have clear focus, and we just do it. In fact, I tell you what, they're so distracted that I send off. I don't want, because it's so embarrassing. I sent off this week. I sent off a couple of them to the Prime Minister's office, and the person who responded to me, somehow she mixed them up. She sent me some things where some other people probably ask, or something where she wants to say a thing. But when I went back and look, I never asked them questions there, and she you know, she should document them and say, yes, you asked this question, this question.
Everybody afraid of you. So them all answer what they ask. Oh, I apologize for her. It's out of fear. She doesn't answer you because she's afraid of you. So sometimes I say go.
No one's afraid of me.
I'm petrified of you, brother.
Right. But let me ask you a question now.
Because you know I'm about to leave you, right? Because
I know. Let me ask this question before you go. Daniel Archer, Esquire, is now Minister of not Justice, Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
Me?
Put yourself in the position. Just for the sake of this hypo, right?
This part is called Let's Role Play.
My heart a flat. Hold on. Sorry. Yes, you were saying. I'm not sure if it's where my park or what you just said. But
all
yeah.
right. Yeah, you're now put yourself in the position of Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs. I know you have this constitutional reform bill to deal with. Open-ended question. How are you going to deal with it?
Before I make a decision about whether I'm going into phase 1, 2, 3, or 4, or whether or not it's going to be a phased basis, I would want to have had a public education campaign amongst all Jamaicans so that they understand what the current law is, what the current constitution is, and also to take into consideration what their main concerns are and were. Once I've done that assessment and created a feedback loop and created some kind of mechanism coming from the different counties, the different parishes, as well as the different stakeholder groups, not just the lawyers or the doctors, but the farmers, the teachers, persons who are domestic workers. Once I've gotten a feedback from every sector in the society, I would then have those sectors decide who they want their leaders to be on this panel or this grouping. I would then take that information and then decide what it is that I would tackle first. So I would do my massive public education campaign, and I would do my public education campaign like how we attacked COVID-19, going to particular areas, ensuring that they understood what the current constitution says. It's almost like I would have given another shot at civics, because the constitution is not just a law. What this constitution is also doing is giving us an understanding of how we want to operate as a society. So I would also, it would demand of me such an extensive public education campaign that I would have to twin it as well with a civics education, so that when I speak, people understand what I'm asking them about a president, what it means to have a prime minister, what it means to have a different kind of president, an executive president, you know, what the functions are. And it was after I've done that massive education campaign, then I would use the information that I've gotten to create a decision-making platform as to what to do first, what to do next. It wouldn't be just for me or the political directorate, because as legal and constitutional minister, I appreciate that what I am doing now is simply guiding a team towards making a decision for a generation 50 years from now. So that would be what I would have in my mindset. It's not about politics. It's not about being the first president of the republic. It's not about being the first person to craft the modern constitution. It would be, how can I create a society that is so far different and highlights the best qualities of Jamaica, that gives us the best possible way to succeed. I would not just be focusing on what other constitutions have done or said. I would be focused on making a constitution that is curated. You hear my big word? Curated to the culture of Jamaica, the expectations of the people, and to also solve the problem of apathy and the lack of interest in national affairs. If it so pleases you, that would be what I would do in my
But listen,
ideal of a
right.
legal and constitutional minister.
But here's the thing, Daniel, that wasn't done. So now you have this problem now, and you have to fix it. Now, I'm the prime minister. I said, Daniel, listen, you're over here. You have to go fix this thing. But before you answer that question, I want JAMAICA and Kevin jump in, because I know you have to leave, and I just keep that question in the back of your mind. It's an easy question, that. But we just want JAMAICA and Kevin get a chance to ask you a question just before you leave.
Oh, thank you. Thank you again, Daniel. I tell you, you get the job. You get the job of Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs. In my book, And I know a lot of people will be giving you that job because
Heart a flutter. It's humbling. It's humbling. I never thought I'd be so considered. Thank you so
Number
very
of friends, let's just go down, Shata.
welcome here where critical thinkers are and bright minds like yours come to grace the space and more people can learn. So the approach that you said that you would take, it's phenomenal. We have seen in Jamaica the process so far pitch patch because they act like they want to engage people, and when people start having too much questions, the right questions, then they are being shut down and you get half answers and you get a bit of a pushback. And so they have moved to the process where they are putting on their shoes and then putting on the socks. And you have said no to that. You're saying that you're going to ensure that you refresh the body.
Well, that would be the best approach for me, I'm thinking, because remember, and this is what a lot of people don't understand and appreciate. We haven't had civics in schools for many years. So many Jamaicans don't understand the role of government. Two, our political parties are both to be blamed. They have created what I call they have created a mass of disinformation and over expectation. So what we expect of our members of parliament, how parliament operates, is done for the benefit of a few. So we don't have the civics. We have a political system that is taking advantage of voters. And in a scheme where it's all about who can sound better and be better and the legacy that one wants to leave behind, we have started it because remember now, this is an ongoing process. But you want to be the person who gets it done. So you're running. This is not and so we don't recognize that changing the constitution is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
So my questions for you, it's a two-part question. What is your strategy to engage and educate people about? I'm moving away from you already getting the job of legal and constitutional minister. I'm moving to going back to in your capacity.
Oh, the real world now, where I operate. I can't stop having hallucinations.
But let me tell you, you win in our book. This is the type of representation. Well, we have books.
You're not for run. You're not for run. We are Gio. You're not for run.
See, we have books in and it's very thick. So in our books, you have one. Yeah. Anybody else want to say anything in our books, right? Moving back to your capacity now. I'm asking. You come back because I write my book. I'm asking what strategy you would take to engage and to educate people about corruption playing part in governance, and also what programs and initiatives that you have available at this time to get young people or anybody in Jamaica, because not just young people.
All right. So let's start with the anti-bribery campaign. This is where we're gonna get all it. This is like the aerobics class. This is where you can get things done. So it's an initiative where we're gonna be educating our fellow colleagues, our fellow friends, our families about what is bribery. What does it mean? We're gonna have pop-up conversations where you can join, tell me what you want to do, and you take the message from me and take the baton and go somewhere else and carry out the message. Whatever information you're gonna need to share, we're gonna provide it for you. We're gonna try and use the mass media, social media, by giving out this information on all those platforms. We want to be able to create a space. So in addition to the pop-up shops and the seminars, we want to have that conversation about what it means to have nepotism and cronyism, what it means to say pass and christening pitney fuss. One packy come, hand go packy come, meaning say you have to give me something to do. You just stay up and cow back and can't cut cow skin. The little proverbs that we have and how we sit down and how we set up. You recognize that when you tell me I just say a thing, how all of that affects our culture. We're going to have that conversation. We're looking at conversations. We're looking at having sessions. We're looking at having a launch of the campaign where we have some buzzwords. We look at some key messages. We will eventually be able to get everybody involved, whether by the way of seminars. We're looking to engage our integrity advocates. We have some integrity advocates now. We have some schools that we have some integrity clubs in. We're hoping to revitalize the integrity clubs using the message so that they can go out and spread the message in their families. And generally, to get people involved, we want to be able to give people the information so that they can start asking JAMP through the use of JAM's tools to ask the members of parliament what you think. Would you support such a legislation? That's the initiative that we're working on now. And if we can do a little bit more of that and people become engaged in the process, then we'll develop participation and people learn how to participate in making a change like that.
I look forward to see you on TikTok for one of my senses. Yes, I look forward.
You realize that I don't have no social media presence.
Well, we want to ensure that
we just told a hard a while ago. You mean say you put me on TikTok, and I mean say you put me on TikTok, right? I two of them are the same thing.
Well,
not quite.
I completely disappeared from that picture. You realize?
I saw you.
Let me do it again.
then if you're afraid of just TikTok with
I'm not afraid of
JAMAICA.
TikTok. I'm not afraid of TikTok. I just don't use social media because we don't get enough time to talk. And people take a bit of your message and run with it. And you know, you get to they do the same thing when I do an interview with you. So I'm putting on my big girl shoes. Yes, JAMAICA, I will join you on TikTok whenever you're ready.
All right, sounds good then.
So I'm back in the picture.
You have a few platforms to go on because you still have to go on a night shift and with me. And then people. So don't worry about it. You're going to be doctoring up this thing. You're going to heal the nation in many ways and people in the diaspora. Because with me,
well, guess what? It doesn't matter how we do the advocacy, and that's one of the things I want people to understand. Advocacy is not just coming on TikTok or coming on the Rebel Show. Advocacy is a conversation that you have in the bar. A lot of people lime at the bar, they go to the clubs. You know, evening time, you come in from work and you come out to the taxi and you stand up on the corner and you talk to your neighbor. And then the kind of conversations we need to have. That's how you do advocacy. And then you move that advocacy now to the end of the road where you call the neighbor and say, you know, say something serious are going on here. So then you rob a man on your back last night, you know, and you decide what you're going to do. How you're going to get active. What are you going to do in the community? That's advocacy. And so one of the things we want coming out of this anti-bribery campaign is for people to get information and people to feel free to share this information in a manner that they ultimately hold their members of parliament accountable. Because if you decide as a community that this is something that you want to make Jamaica better, you know, Trump is talking about making America great again. We are just concerned. We're not concerned about again. Jamaica has always been great. It's being able to ensure that Jamaica remains great. That's what we do. And we have greatness, and we've always have greatness within us. And whether we take it into the community or you take it to TikTok, I want people to start talking about corruption in the same way that we talk about Red Stripe, and we have that conversation where we talk about doing things the right way. We don't hitch. We just understand sacrifice. But just like the football, when you hitch and you catch a goal, sometimes you drop, sometimes you shadow a man. That is what corruption is all about. Being able to play the game, but to play the game according to the rules. Because if you don't comply with the rules in the game of football, you're going to have issues. You're going to get called out.
Daniel, fortunately I was muted. Come here, I did with laugh when you say you're no nurse. When Kevin said ever come to the night.
Sorry, but you say night shift. Me not do no job. We have night shift. Me no journalist. Me no nurse.
But somebody in the chat that say, where is it? Oh, Lawrence, him says she win even if she run backwards.
I remember say Gregory Isaac sings night nurse.
Yeah.
I got it in my head.
Oh, yeah. Before Kevin asks his question, Kevin asked a question, but that one you think about this, Daniel. Just tell people how they can get involved with NIA and the anti-bribery campaign, please. But Kevin, go ahead.
By the end of March, we're going to be launching the anti-bribery campaign. So listen out for the information on that. And you'll get the information as it relates to what we're going to be unfolding. By that time, we'll upload to our social media pages. Yes, Kevin, we have social media page, and we're going to put everything on Instagram. So the NIA page will be updated to facilitate the campaign. So if you keep watching the boring pages now, we're going to make sure that they're lively up after. And so you'll be able to get some information from there. And you can watch the papers. We'll be in the mass media. We're going to be on social media. And of course, if there is some place that you want Daniel to speak at, you want me to come and talk to your community, about the campaign, about what you can do to make Jamaica great and to keep great from the 10 years of corruption. It's 876-564-5154. You can reach out, send a message, more likely send a message, because sometimes we're unable to answer the phone. I don't know the office number offhand because it's been done for some time. So if you use that cell number, you should be able to reach me or somebody from the office, and we'll do this thing together. So we're working with JAM. We're working with the neighborhood watches, so you can reach out to the president as well. We want to come into your community. When you're having a round robin, I mean, I won't be able to drink as much as you expect me to, but I can round robin and give you a talk, because I saw we're going to do the thing. We're meeting you where you are, because if you don't understand how to hold your members of parliament accountable in one area, we're going to lose an entire generation who will not be able to understand that members of parliament work for me. They earn money because I pay the taxes, or I allow you to be in office. And so you can't tell me you're not going to parliament, and you can't tell me you're not going to pass legislation that is beneficial to me, because if you don't, you're not going to pass the doors of parliament without seeing my face outside.
Kevin?
No, man. When I asked my question when you were frozen. No worries.
Okay. Daniel, before you go, somebody asked, a very dear friend of mine asked, is there an integrity club at UTEC?
No.
Do you know?
We used to have one. There was one up at UE as well. If you're interested in starting one, reach out to us and we'll do our best.
Oh, Daniel got frozen. No.
Cold front, Jamaica.
Yeah. Christopher, link me later. Maybe
the flying horse.
Oh, Pegasus, I work on the other side now. Daniel, I don't know if you can hear us. But folks, here's a yeah, try bring her on.
Oh, no, I can't get that. She frozen her side. There's nothing I can do.
Nothing I can do. All right, folks, here's what happened. As you can tell, Daniel is a breath of fresh air. She's a vivacious. She's an assertive. I won't use the word aggressive. She's an assertive woman. She's comfortable in her skin. She knows who she is and what she's about. And I just hope that what I saw in her from the very first interview we did together, because both of us were being interviewed, I hope that you now see the same things that I saw back then. And I hope we take pride in knowing that Jamaica, we're still in good hands because of people like Daniel, people like the Auditor General, people like Jeanette, people like Rosalia, people like Miss Pike, that there's much to be excited about in Jamaica. Much to be. It's not all gloom and doom. We have people out there doing the people's work. And I know she's gone now. I don't know if she's listening to me or not, but I just want to thank her from the bottom of my heart for coming on today and exposing herself to a new audience, because I suspect that most of you, and I'm getting a lot of text messages, most of you have never heard of her, or if you have heard of her, you've never seen her in this kind of a forum. But she's one dynamic woman. I'm telling you, folks. And believe me, she'll keep her word. Jamaica, she will be with you on TikTok. Kevin, she'll be a night. No, she will. No, she will come on at night. She'll come on at night. She's not a night nurse, but she'll come on at night, right? To talk up the things for you. Like she said, once you start talking about it, and you can see she can't contain herself because she's just bubbling with energy and enthusiasm for Jamaica. And like she said, the biggest thing you can do to her is that, yes, Jamaica. Big up Jamaica. That's it. So, Daniel, big up yourself if you can hear me. And again, thank you for coming on. You have made us smarter this evening. And you'll be smarter every time I see you, talk to you. All right.
Clive, sorry, I can't put up our number. I didn't catch it. But don't worry, you can visit NIA.
National Integrity Action.
Yeah. and reach out to her there.
Yeah, Mike Reed said bring her back, of course, but I can't bring her back until she go up on JAMAICA's program and she go up on Kevin's program. So
She'll
come on at night.
But she's just an amazing Jamaican, and her fire is just contagious. Trust and believe, man. If you cannot be proud of anything in Jamaica, be proud of these women that are coming up and standing up for a just cause. And she's just the epitome of what it means to stand up for your country.
Yeah. Next week, folks, what we're going to do, we're going to break down the DPP, that incident regarding the GLC, the General Legal Counsel, what they've sent to me. Apparently, they had a meeting today, and they tell me last night that they have a meeting today, and that's not how it's supposed to be done. That's not enough time for me to prepare myself and get ready for, push forward with the prosecution of this lady. And when I say prosecution, it's not a criminal prosecution. I just use prosecution in the sense that I'm the complainant, and I just want to make sure that justice is done by her, and also by Jamaica, because we may have some people in prison. We don't know. We may have some people in prison who, as a result of her actions, they're innocently they're there. We don't know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this is all about. We want to know. So,
but you never get your Zoom link either, no?
No, they never gave me they will send me a letter and said, here are the because here wait, Kevin.
But they might treat you like you're nobody, man. They don't get any Zoom link.
You see me talk about I deserve
so yeah, just look at this letter by itself. You don't even have to go as far as a Zoom link. There was no time on this letter.
There you go. When was the meeting happening?
But you know what happened? Think about it, people. Think about the inconvenience. And, she boil up because she said, who him to come out, file thing and make me have to take my Saturday for go downtown or Harbour Street, I think the place. For go down there now, for go deal with them thing, blah, 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 blah. And then not only that, but look what she'd have to do. We not got through it yet. But look how much she write. She write more than she did talk about when she go to England. Because England, Mrs. She sit down at the back and she not say nothing, but she write a whole lot about me. Watch out, people. This all she write about me, And when me do and all of them foolishness there, and she says she never hear about me until this. Well, now you know. If you never know, now you know. Say her thing,
For somebody who has never heard about it, she has a lot to say about it.
Yeah, watch it. She have a lot to say. I want to find the part where she said she never meet me yet, and which part it there? She tried, but what you not realize, is that when you write like this, brother, you write yourself in a problem.
There you go.
Have to analyze. So make sure stay there.
Kevin didn't send her the link.
Yeah, look on 6. Look on 6. Look. Kosher style, man. Look on 6. Mr. Wilson Rattigan was not a party to the trial. Whether for the accuser, I never met Mr. No, you do. No, you have. Welcome. I've never met Mr. Rattigan before, and I only became aware of his name being connected to this matter when the documents and the claim were sent to me. So she knew me before, but she never knew about this thing until when she get the documents. That Mr. Rattigan appeared to be off with the criminal practice and procedures and the protocols which are attached to my role as DPP, an office of the court, and he appears not to be in possession of the full circumstances of the case. Lady, we read what the judge say in our chambers. I'm read what the privy council say about you. We read about that. That's all me need for know. Me no need for you to tell me say me don't know the case. The learned judges, them and lords in London, them know about you, because them see you sit down there. All right, them see you sit down there, waste Jamaican taxpayer money, grin your teeth, skin your grin, and not even get up and say nothing. And to defend your action. Them see you, Them see you, and we see you too.
Pass papers.
Yeah, and you know who we also see? We also see I sat mash up. We see that. We see that. So,
we started phone ringing as well.
10 minutes.
No courtroom courtesy. The phone ringing as well.
Yeah.
Those are the things we saw.
What does her knowing you have to do with the fact that you have raised issues about her behavior, her practice, her conduct in this case? You didn't raise an issue about her personally. You don't know her personally.
It was a
What does
professional. It was
she
about
don't
her.
have to do anything?
It was about a professional decision that she made. Look on this gentleman, I know him. Take me, I know, you know. Him don't know me neither.
And he's another one, but you don't know him either.
No, well, him gonna know me now. Cause the worst thing him can do, you know, I gonna mess with me. Cause me have nothing but time. So you know, I may have this, and like my mother used to say, God not give this only for wear a hat. By the way, me now wearing a hat today. So this God only give this in wear a hat.
Right. Jamaica, so wear it. Don't worry yourself.
I got you. I got you.
We have enough hat, man. See it down, right? So
You can put that at 7 o'clock.
So we have 20 minutes to go, people, and we are gonna deal with the thing proper. But yes, see, this gentleman here said that I was not a. You can't say there's collusion here, you know, that him and she talk, or them go write them affidavit, you know. Same style, same kind of language. I've never met Mr. Rattigan before during the trial. I've only been aware of his name and his interest in the boilerplate language. And that me, look what I'm saying. Mr. Rattigan has sought to place reliance on the case of Gleaner Company and John Hearn. No, Mr. Taylor, don't be an idiot. I am not placing any reliance on this. What I'm placing the reliance on is the fact that you knew that the jury was tainted. You knew. Forget about this case. This case is just brought up. That is it. And also, the one thing where you don't hear them talk about, you notice what them don't talk about? The fact that she said, me and him deal with them. You notice them not talk about that. Sometimes people, you must listen not to what them say, but what them not say.
Correct.
Right? And them never deal with that. And she come out and said on national radio, she's come out and said, me and Jeremy, we deal with them thing all the time, all them tainted jury thing. We deal with them thing all the time, and I want to talk about.
What a friend.
No, Mr. Jeremy, you jump in at the kitchen and I don't know how hot the kitchen is. Yeah, I'll find out. Because we are going, we're not going to bother. We're not about to show them that other document, the Kevin. We're not about to show them the other one. Well, hey, look at us, you know, I'm going to leave it there. So, people, I wanted to show you how to thief money in Jamaica from the government and by extension the taxpayer. But listen, we only have 20 minutes to go. 18 minutes before Mr. Wildman going to join, where we're going to have a musical extravaganza. So I won't have to start it. But believe me, when I show you this thing, I'm going to marvel at how the madam thief money. And you know, it's a simple thing, you know. Simple thing the way they went about it. And you know what it tells me? It's not the first time this happened. And it won't be the last. But we are going to try and make sure it not happen in great numbers. That's what we are going to try though. But we're going to show you how the man them thief money with the assistance of government officials. That's why I say poor people, uno can't do it, you know. Can't do it.
So with the assistance of government officials, who is the ones that are doing this?
All right. Let me just the document, the one from the just want to show them one piece. The report, Kevin. Remember the first page? No, sorry, a DPP. I want to forget. Kevin. Talk to me now. McNeil. Oh, okay, hold on. The document, the one document where like this. No, not jump, not that. The one, Kevin, with the report from the Auditor General, man. The one page. The one page report. I just want to show them something.
That isn't that in the DPP group?
No, it wouldn't be in DPP. It would be in McLean.
Sorry. McLean group.
No, I don't see it.
Then look at the end of people. We have so much tabs. Jeez,
every week. Things just pile up. We have so much like that. No.
Look out. Wait, let's minimize
it. Jamaica content rich, you know, man.
What? Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
And the thing, Jamaica content rich, and Rattigan feeling must get all of the content.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And that's not the problem. That is a problem.
If the man does sleep,
you just pass it. You just pass it. You know, like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with the one that with it markup.
No, man. This. Oh, you moved it. What a man.
Oh, yeah,
try
this.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
man.
this. Yeah. People, Kevin, give me a document here. Kevin show me, Kevin say, watch out. You have to use a document there. Me never know about the document. Kevin says, see document. I tell Kevin, I don't want to look on it. Kevin said, no, look on it. Kevin forced me to look on it. And then Kevin said, green it up. So we green up the document. Let's show the document.
That is why I can't go back to
Look at that document. Look what that document there. Look what Kevin doing. Look what Kevin do with the document. Look at Kevin do with the document.
I'll out on the side.
I'll start on the side, right? That's so yeah. We just want to show the one thing with what she said. She said, it is my opinion that the arguments of the chairman, the permanent secretary, and the acting permanent secretary are unacceptable. When them tell you that, you know what I say? I lie them a lie. Lie them a lie. But we are going to get into this. We are getting at this. And we are going to show them, because what happens is that we have to show you how it starts. And believe me, people, sometimes you get a story and it's an abbreviated version, and you don't really you don't really appreciate the depth and the gravity and the seriousness of the story until you see the whole thing unfold in front of you. And I was just looking for something else and come across this, and then I start digging, and then the whole thing just unfolded in front of me. And it became abundantly clear to me that what they were doing, these people were stealing. They were stealing. Even after people told them, don't put no more money over there, so they still sent money over there. And we're going to show you what the plan is. Because here's what happened now. If they want to stop, if they want to get back, well, I don't know if they'll get back the money, but if they want to put some people in prison, they only have maybe a few months in order to do it. And if they don't bring it, then guess what? The statute of limitation will expire, and then there's nothing you can do. So now the people get away with the money and then get away from going to prison. So that's where we are. But we're going to bring it up next week. And by the way, Minister Dana Morris Dixon, we're not finished with you because you connected to this story. Not the missing or unaccounted funds directly, but just by your statement where you said funds there are no missing funds. We're going to show you that we don't have the funds, and then it's up to you to tell us how to classify the funds. Because what you've done exactly what the DPP and Mr. Jeremy Taylor did. They don't tell us about the part that the DPP said that we've been working on these cases. They don't mention that. Just like you come and say there are no missing funds, but you don't tell us, well, the funds that we don't have, they're missing, they're stolen. You don't give us, no, you just tell us what they're not. Tell us what they are. Tell us what they are. So that's where we have 12 minutes. And Kevin, you want to tell the people what they need to do for come on for this musical extravaganza, yeah?
All right. So a musical jamboree is in the making. We had a little what would do with it now? What rebel do with it now? Jeez, please. Every time I put something somewhere, this man come and move.
You can't already know.
Some people, this brother, yeah.
And especially because we know Kevin they're on. Especially when they're on. When they're not there on, we don't really touch too much things, you know. But
it's true.
We touch everything. We come and say if it go back, yeah. Kevin, I go deal with the thing proper, you know.
So for those of you who have been asking, those of you who have been wondering, let me make sure I make this text part real big for you, because from 7 o'clock.
It's a jamboree now.
Hey, listen.
Not that clash.
No, jamboree, no, man. That's new name that for clash.
Jamboree. Clash with nobody. Last time I did that, I got in trouble, and I still. All right, let me leave it alone. So the Rebel, myself, and the only legal DJ in Jamaica, Mr. Hugh Wildman Esquire, will be having a moment in music, a moment in time, a moment that you'll have never experienced and don't know if you'll ever experience again. So call your friends, tell your friends, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. Somebody, anybody, everybody. Let them know Reggae Global Radio is a place to be. Don't hesitate, don't itch. Just go to reggaeglobalradio.com. Real easy. Some people are already over there listening to this broadcast. It's the same place you're going to be. You see, Rebel done start playing music already. I don't know his way him up to, but him can't wait. And let me tell you some people. Between Rebel and Wildman, I don't know which one of them worse. You know, you take kids and you let them go loose in a toy store. This is them as it relates to this. Them want to play with everything. So,
Kevin, why don't you tell the people the truth? Why don't you tell the people Mr. Wildman called me on harassment? Why not tell him that? Him call me middle of the night. Him call me at the daytime. And my send threat and him tell me one. Not only that, him get family members on top and I talk up the thing. You were present for some of the call. Yeah, you were.
Listen, it's not that people. It's not that I was present. You know, it's just that every time you and Will on a call, my phone ring. Tell me how. Tell me how. So some people want somebody. Angela, you say you want to send me some music? Oh, DJ K Stew Music at Gmail. Real easy. DJ K Stew Music at Gmail.
Mr. Or with the banner level.
Deep all in love. Everyone falls in love sometimes. So, people, in about 9 minutes, we're supposed to get started on that. So what's going to happen is that this broadcast will come to an end. Never before seen in the time of Reason with Rattigan that Reason with Rattigan end early. Never. Mark your calendars. This day, history happened today.
You just have to mention that, all right?
It will go over, never under. So you can tell that he is just beside himself right now.
Kevin, tell me, say, Kevin said to me, listen, man, we have finished the show here early now. I said, Kevin, whatever you say, no boss, whatever you say, right? And Kevin said, yes, we're going, just like how Kevin tell me to put things in a green and him find things the government to do. I say, all right, no problem. So Kevin said, we're finishing the program at 7 o'clock. I said to him, Kevin, whatever you say, sir.
It takes a team, man. It takes a team.
And also, there will be no Saturday stew like you know it, because this program is going to be on. So it starts at 7 and it continues. So much so that the Saturday night juggling with Tony Culture is in jeopardy because of this event also. Well, we'll just take advantage of our situation, basically. That's what
God. I was told by the boss leader that boss leader that we have the we have the time. That's what I was told.
That's what I was told.
Right.
I have one request from Mr. Rattigan tonight. Babande. Yeah,
no,
man.
Hey, what? You know what? I would have loved to play a Babande, but guess what?
Yeah.
Mr. Wildman called me and he sent me a message and him say, we are playing R&B.
R&B.
Yeah, him said that's the only thing we're playing. And I said to him, sir, as you wish. I said to him,
because I know Babande would be something about up your alley, because I listened to you one night and trust me, man. It was a grooving feeling. I love it.
That's how we do the thing, man. That's how we do the thing around there, man. Yeah, man. But him said, because Kevin, well, DJ Kevin Stew and I, we were planning on playing reggae, R&B, and some disco music, some dance music, right? And Mr. Wildman said, listen, enough of this nonsense. We're playing R&B. So we said, okay, sir.
The sheriff.
Yeah. So we just say we'll comply. So anything will happen is him.
We are flexible beings, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So we have to be flexible, right? So in the midst of it all, we'll see what happens. Yeah. So
hey, you tell us something, people. Kevin had the danger, you know. You hear Kevin talk about me and Wildman. Kevin, enough for watching that Kevin had the danger.
Yeah.
You don't know. Listen, me don't know nothing about music. Me just like music, and me don't know nothing about them two, the two of them, right?
Yeah.
Kevin a DJ, and Mr. Wildman is a licensed DJ. So I am a nobody DJ. So me just play at my house. Me play at my house. That's how I play. That's my house. So, and most of the time when I play music, it's on Saturday morning when Kevin has set up and we have go through the things. But I play my playlist. You know, that's how me do it.
Well, people need to come and just enjoy from the master to the newbie, the protege.
Yeah. And so me want to go first because me are the newbie, so I want to go first. Because Mr. Wildman have a little thing with him say that. Him say, you know him tell me? Him say, you can't play no song when me play already. Because him play a song for me last week Saturday night. Enough people never know, you know. Him call me, late at night. Him called Kevin too. Kevin upon it. And Kevin said, you what? Kevin said, you what? The 2 hours, but now come off and leave the 2 hours, you know. Because you know what?
Bowl of soup, people. I don't understand, I have my bowl of soup, I'm gonna get my nice soup. I was looking forward to just enjoying my bowl of chicken soup, And them two brother, yeah.
Hey, the man, JAMAICA, the man wouldn't come off, All I said to him, me say, Hugh, hear what? All right, the thing set up, we deal with this next. He said, no, why you listen to that song, yeah? So he play a song, and just do this. Just leave. You know him say? I knock out punch at him, give me.
The man serious about him thing, right?
Yeah, me just lean back. Him saying, I knock you get knocked out. I said, what you talk about? He said, I put on the song and you have to lean back. I just said, him say, all right. Then the next thing you know, he bring on him wife. Mrs. Wildman was on the thing too.
Yeah.
Make Kevin tell you, you know what have to finish? Kevin have to say, look here, I'm gonna leave the 2 hours alone. I'm gonna sign off because I can't. He wouldn't make me come up. Every time I come and say, hey, listen to that song. Yeah. And then hear what him do with me now. You know what him say? This is what him doing. Him say, you can't play back none of the songs him and me play tonight for you.
Yeah. That's serious.
And then every time him call me now, him want to play songs for me. I say, me don't want you to play nothing for me. Because if you don't play it now, me can't play nothing. He said, me don't want you to play nothing.
You know, says a smart man.
Yeah.
And I empty your arsenal,
Exactly. That's what him do. Him called me want to play songs and said, you cannot play them songs here because I play them for you, so you can't play them for me. And then they say, well, on. So when I tell him, say, here what now? Me don't want to play no more songs for myself. Do you know him start though? Him start tell me. I say, I'm going to play this one. I'm going to play. I say, so hold on now. So me can't play them songs now.
I'm serious about the craft, man. Win at all costs.
Man, I think him slick, man. I think him slick. So me nobody take no more call from him, I see my call, man. Me nobody take. Me just make him text me. Me just text me. And see me with my phone. Now Prips come and say, I hope it's not a song him put on it tomorrow.
People, let me tell you, these two, let me tell you, competitive to the bone. And I will not be outdone. So make sure Reggae Global Radio, 2 more minutes. All right? Less than 2 minutes.
Look forward to see it. I hope everybody in the chat ready.
Yeah, man, because I already take off my show and my show disabled. Boop. Because them two, yeah, I gotta do them thing. You see how the picture said?
What on there, Kevin? Just remember what I'm saying now. Him say, me I go mash up you and Kevin. That's what him saying now. Him say, me I go destroy. Him say, listen, I don't take prisoners when it comes to music. And the 2 hours, me I'll clean on up. That's what him said.
That's what he said. That's what he said. All right, people, we have to go jump off because we're about to start this thing. So later, people, reggaeglobalradio.com. Real easy. Right. Soon over there. End
All
it,
right.
Rebel.
Thank you, blessing.